TJ the Wheel Joe coming at you live. It is Friday, May the 30th, 12:03 p.m. Central Time, Texas time. We're going to get into it, guys. Hoping to go to school today. I sent the link out for Mr. Option himself, and I want to learn about the ratios. I want to learn about the delta theta ratio, why they exist, why they're important, all that stuff. So I'm going to type in here, tasty trade delta theta vega ratios and see what it says. So I've got that lined up. We're going to wait on option and we'll go from there. In the meantime, introduce yourself. Let me know who's rocking with me already. We got 70 people over there on X. We've got 25 people here on YouTube. Mike K, what's going on? Shamu, what's going on? Mike D, Edward, what's going on? Edward, Mike D, what up, Tavares? I hope you guys are doing phenomenal. I hope everybody's doing well. I don't have anything expiring across the board. What's going on, Manish? Anyway. So what I'm going to do is I already have this pulled up over here. There's the kaleidoscope action. So you guys should be seeing the portfolios. The portfolios are pretty red today. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start across the board. We're going to start with the small account. We do have things expiring in the small accounts, my son's account. So what's going on there? We've got three positions. We've got NEO. There's 1,000 shares owned at $3.89. Currently going for $3.53, and then 7 days out we have a covered strangle going on whereby we've got an agreement to buy 1,000 more shares at $4 7 days from now, next Friday, and we've got an agreement to sell the shares that we own at $4.50. Obviously those are doing pretty well. So what I may consider doing, if there's any money in it, is I may consider rolling these down to $4. See if there's any money to be had by doing that. And it looks like there isn't much. I could do that and bring in a whopping $17. This shit isn't even worth the trouble. It's not even worth the trouble. So I'm going to leave that alone. Then on Riot, we've got 3,000 shares at $6.89. Those have been on a downward trajectory here lately, at least for the last few days. And they're currently going for the mark, they're currently going for $8.04. So they're losing money today. The good news is we have covered calls on these. So this is a covered strangle where you own the shares and you've got an agreement to sell the calls. You've got an agreement to sell those shares at a certain price. You got an agreement to buy more shares at a certain price. So this isn't fully a covered strangle because the amount of contracts that we have on the cash secured puts, on the short puts, isn't the same as the short calls or the covered calls in this case, because we just don't have enough money in this account to do that. So this is just a version of the covered strangle, if you will. And we got an agreement to buy more shares a week from now at $8. And those are barely out of the money. So the covered calls are printed. They're already at 100%. And that part's awesome. So there's no reason. Excuse me, I gotta let my dog out of the bathroom. Are you done here? Get out. Okay, you all lay on the bed, be good. Lay on the bed, be good. And Gavin, everybody catch you licking your wound, buddy. I gotta put the cone back on. The cones are as a reminder of what not to do. The cover call is doing good on Riot. On Tesla, TSOL, there's 1,500 shares owned at $8.85. They're currently going for $15.10. So the shares are still performing well. They're getting their ass kicked today. But luckily, there are some covered calls on these that expired today, and those are also approaching 100%. So there's only $15 of meat left on the bone. I'm not going to give them that dollar back. I'll just let them expire. So all in all, the portfolio is down a little bit year to date, but looking real good. And then there's cover call premium that's going to print again next week. This is already 2 rounds of cover calls successfully on Riot and TSOL. very short dated, playing these weeklies. I'm trying to boost up the cash flow. The cash position is 8,800. I like to get it to $10,000 because I figured there's a chance here, a very high chance that we're going to own $4,000 more of NEO. So I want to make sure that there's still some cash on the books. And then there's also the other situation where we could potentially be buying another $8,000 worth of Riot. So I wouldn't be able to cover both of those. So I may look to roll this one out, actually. So I may look to do that. I may roll this one out, roll this expiration out to the 620 cycle, keep it at $8, just a little lateral roll there, get it filled quickly. So bring in another $200. That way I don't have to deal with these on the same expiration date. Gives me time to make more money on the TSLL calls. Give me more time to put another grand or two into the account and position ourselves to take ownership of everything if we needed to. So that's kind of the game plan there. So let me try to get that done. Hopefully that will fill. And we'll call life good. Let me check in over here. Maybe Option has already joined us. He has. There we go. What is going on, my man?
Got on my Will Deal shirt, player.
There you go. There you go. I got a Ralph Lauren shirt. There's a little power horse right there. you got the initial shirts, the ones that Troy had printed out for us the first time.
Yeah, I got my Will Deal shirt on today.
I got the high-end water today, baby, Aquapana, because Bitcoin's tanking, so this is Bitcoin water right here. So we got to try to pump Bitcoin up. You know what I mean?
Well, I got a little coconut for you, a little coconut water.
Refreshing, baby. That's refreshing.
I can't mess with that water you got.
I'm drinking some of that S tier water today. I'm feeling rich, even though the account's tanking. I'm feeling good.
yeah, definitely. Yep.
So let's check in with some people here. What's going on, Dak? Appreciate that pointer on the XL, me man. Rich, Chris Millas, Andrew Hughes. What's going on? Not a lurker. Nala. Angel Reese. What up? Akiva. Brad Feeney. Neo has earnings next week. I'm not giving them $1 back. Oh, that's what I'm saying. we need all that money right now, baby. I think Neo going to start catching a bid. This is my little thesis on Neo. It is a shit company compared to Tesla. Let's call it what it is. But they got a lot of promise. And I think they're going to start talking about profitability towards the end of the year or first part of next year. And that's going to get people excited about Neo again, because it's like, oh, man, the finish line is right there. Y'all finally getting y'all shit together enough to actually make $1 in profit. That could be very, very exciting news cycle. But then now China's not playing nice according to Donald Trump. So all that shit might be for naught, because the world hinges on the next tweet. You know what I'm saying? These tweets are very, very, very powerful.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
But it's something that we've been through already. So
we have. If you've been in the market, there's a lot of people that came in at the very end of Donald Trump's presidency during COVID. So this might be very new to them, actually.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, on another note, for the members that are rocking with me on the WhatsApp group, on Fridays moving forward, send me a text and we could do a 5-minute FaceTime. If you have anything that you're navigating, but try to get them in before like 2 p.m. because from 2 to 3, I got to navigate my own shit. You know what I'm saying? But I can help you out, and I can help you out in a quick 3 to 5 minutes. But come at me with your ducks in a row. I don't need to know how you're doing, how the kids are doing. Let's just say we're doing all that right now on this, right? How's everybody doing? Great. Okay, awesome. Call me with your shit. Like, call me with things that really specifically have to do with the portfolio, and you don't really know to roll, not to roll, that kind of thing. To take assignment, not take assignment. I will play a game called I can't tell you what to do. I'll tell you what I would do. Because that's not financial advice. This is just me telling you what I would do. You got to draw your own conclusions, right? So, because I know that expiration Fridays hit real heavy for some people. So what's my recommendation for that? That isn't again financial advice. This is just me doing you a solid. Don't let it get to that point. Option. You probably very rarely deal with an expiration date now, right?
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't never get that
I'm just saying, like, why are you letting it get to that point, right? Like, seriously, like, are we here for the drama or are we here for the dollars? Because expiration dates come with a lot of drama. Everything is amplified, it's magnified. There's things called like max pain, and you got to go look at it. You got to look at it from the eyes of the casino and the gambler. What's the best for the house? What's the best for market makers? Is it better above 10? Is it better below 10? And if you're having to calculate all that shit, you're making a hard game harder.
And really for a couple bucks.
I know.
Making a little bit more money, right?
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, why not sell it 30 to 45 days out, manage it 21 days out? After 3 or 4 cycles of doing that, you're going to have something popping out of the pipeline every time, especially if you stagger your expiration dates. So then it's like now your expiration date is every Friday, but it's really 21 days out.
Yeah.
And once that pipeline starts popping for you, you're playing the same game with a lot less stress.
Yeah.
And that's why I've never understood doing weekly. It's like, oh, they pay more money mathematically. Well, shit, they should for all that volatility.
So, yeah, you got to think of the risk.
And if you annualize it, it's only like 1.5%, maybe 2 at the most for the whole year. Bro, that is just not enough money for the stress that causes.
Nah.
In my opinion. What say you? What say the chat?
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely not me. It's not in my opinion to do that. Unless, like, it depends on when I'm doing it and what I have. If I have shares and I want to do a weekly, then that's fine, right?
Yeah,
you know, that's fine. But if I don't, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. It doesn't make sense.
I did that on Riot and TSLL the last couple of times on the little account. Just 3-4 days on the cover call, bring some money through the door, something in like the 2 delta.
Yeah,
and it's worked out, and I like it. And boom, I'm in, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to ride those shares up because that's the fastest way, I think, to build the account. Like when it catches bid to 15, I'm sitting on 3,000 shares. We look up, holy shit, we're approaching 100 grand, right?
Exactly.
I got 1,500 shares of TSLO. It catches the bid, goes to 25. Boom, those 2 things happen. The account is on the cusp of probably 90 to 100 grand. So I don't want to lose that opportunity on a couple of bucks on covered calls. So I'm being real strategic with that. And all the while, I'm keeping an eye on SoFi. If SoFi were to somehow tank to like 11, I'm like, now I could pivot because I could ride 11 up to 14, like for sure, a lot faster, a lot safer in my mind, right? So I want to maintain the option of letting go of the shares if I have something better to pivot into. Because between SoFi, Riot, and TSLL, like if I have to hold one for 5 years, I'd rather hold SoFi.
Yeah.
And if it gives me an entry point that's pretty intoxicating and enticing, I want to have the option to do that. So I don't want to be locked into no 30 to 45 day covered call. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, let's go to school. Let's go to school this morning. Option. I want you to be patient with me. I want you to be patient with the crowd because I want to talk about things that people don't talk about that often. You know, I saw about 15 minutes of Uncle Henry. I call him Nephew Henry because he's a kid compared to me, but he's good. He knows this game. And he talked about, I got this 6-hour seminar because a lot of people don't go into detail and this and that. And you watch this shit here and you're going to act like you got a master's degree in fucking wheeling, right? And so I watched 15 minutes. I couldn't do it. The information looks really good, though, if you don't already know it.
Yeah.
And the guy has a way of explaining things. I want to give him a shout out to Nephew Henry. He's got a 6-hour video. I saw 15 minutes of it, and I'm ready to endorse the video. But it's 6 hours, bro. You know what I'm saying? But if you wanted to learn the A to Z, the guy, like I did mine 4 or 5 months ago. And I feel like I left some stuff out because it's hard to get my ADHD LMNOP under control and keep it under control that long. So, and again, I'm live, he's video. So he probably, he's able to cut and paste and stuff. If you look closely, there's a lot of editing going on, right?
Yeah.
You ain't gonna get that shit on this channel. How it comes out, it comes out. If I say anything when I made SoFi, when I was so fucking be it. I said right when I meant marathon, so be it. This is live and in color. What are we gonna do? Right?
Yeah.
But I don't care enough to fix it. You know what I'm saying? I was pointing at the cursor. What did the cursor say?
Right.
So anyway, man, check it out though. Like if y'all want to really get a nice foundation, go watch my 3-hour video. That's Saturday. Go watch Henry. I think Henry's got a couple of them out there now. They're like A to Z, like a little options class, if you will. And it's pretty awesome. So anyway, let's go over here. And I'm going to go hit, well, I got to do it this way. I got to stop the screen. And I got to go over here.
And his name, what is it? Invest with Henry?
Yeah, Invest with Henry. He's a kid. He's a Russian dude. 30 years old, probably.
Oh, okay.
Travels all over the place, working with about $4 or $5 million bucks.
Oh, okay.
He sells options predominantly. He does other stuff. He's done crazy shit on Tesla back in the day. Really grew his account with like put credit spreads and call credit spreads, that kind of thing.
Okay.
He's good. He's good. But he's got the hustle going where he's trying to like be your coach for like $3,000 and that kind of shit. And I don't knock anybody's hustle. It's whatever, right? It's whatever. If people find value in it, do it. I paid $35,000 for college, right? Did I get value out of it? Not really. It was a fun party.
Yeah.
But if somebody teaches you a skill set and you have a real big account, and now that makes you $300,000-$400,000 a year, $3-4 grand that you pay some of these people that actually know what they're doing, that's a drop in the bucket, right? Somebody that does a $99 package with me after 5, 6, 7 conversations, you're like, holy shit, I got it. And now you have crazy money, and now you're making $200,000-$300,000 a year. I mean, I'll send you my Cash App if you feel like I was undercompensated. Nobody's ever sent me any money though. I talked to one of your members yesterday. You're like, oh, I'm making like $20,000-$30,000 a month now. And dude, how good that makes me feel is priceless.
Yeah.
It was somebody is like not even that close to retirement, but within 10 years probably. And now they're like, retirement no longer means a pay cut. That's what I'm in it for.
Correct.
Like, I'm like, dude, I did a lot of stupid shit in this world, but I did a couple of good things too. And I ain't trying to earn my spot to heaven. That's based on my faith. I'm just talking about putting out good energy and doing solids for people because people have done solids for me along the way. With them.
Yes.
So that's why I have the little channel is like, I want to do some solids for people. And I had a little 5-minute conversation with one of the members yesterday, and I was tickled pink inside. I was tickled like in a real good way. Right. Because I could see in his eye that his life has changed for the better.
Yeah.
Just because he stumbled upon the little channel, bro. How fucking cool is that?
It's crazy, man.
I mean, dude, I feel like if I go to his neck of the woods, I got a friend.
Yeah.
Like I got a friend, this dude fucking probably treat me to dinner or something, $50. I'm an easy guy, right? In-N-Out Burger, you got me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't have to do anything. We don't do steak and lobster over here. I'm an easygoing dude.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I feel like I could legit have a friend if I got to know him.
Yeah.
And that is awesome, dude. Like to me, it's absolutely priceless. I was talking to my wife about it, and I was like, baby, I was talking to this dude, I was on the golf cart and stuff because I made arrangements with another member to go play golf yesterday, and then I got the little notification that I got a FaceTime. So I called on the golf cart, and I'm not feeling good, dude. Like I was already petered out after like 6 holes, so the other member's like golfing by himself now. And I'm just like trying not to die in the golf cart. And like, dude, what are we doing out here at 1 o'clock in the morning in the South Texas heat? Like, this was about as dumb as selling a 0 DT. You know what I mean? And just asking to get your ass kicked, bro. Hey, dude, Elf Beauty is on a tear, by the way. Bill White, how you doing, Bill White? He told me to stay in that thing. I had paper hands, bro. I couldn't do it. I didn't believe in the air, face, and skin. Or what is it? Ear, lips, and skin. Ear, lips, and face. Elf, ear, lips, face. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah.
So anyway, let's talk about this right here. Let's get on track. I know we're bullshitting around, but this is why I called it shooting the poop, right? So what are we doing here? So it's Tasty traders use ratios of delta and theta, delta divided by theta and theta divided by vega to assess risk and efficiency in their option strategies. A delta theta ratio of 0.5 for negative delta is a good target. A high theta vega ratio, ideally over 20%, means you're getting paid more for time decay theta relative to volatility risk vega, potentially leading to better profitability. Elaboration. Delta measures the sensitivity of an options price to changes in the underlying asset price. Positive delta for calls, negative theta, or negative for puts. Theta measures the rate at which an option's value decreases as time passes. Vega measures the sensitivity of an options price to changes in the underlying asset volatility. Delta theta ratio. The purpose. It helps manage portfolio delta, especially when aiming for delta neutral strategies. Example, if your portfolio theta is 20, a 0.5 delta theta ratio would suggest aiming for a portfolio delta of 10, according to Tasty Trade. A delta theta ratio, this is your target, of approximately 0.5 for negative delta is often recommended. Monitoring. If the delta theta ratio drifts too far from the target, adjustments might be needed. Then you have the theta vega ratio. Purpose. Provides a measure of efficiency and risk reward. A high ratio indicates you're getting more time decay for the volatility risk you're taking. Calculation. Theta divided by vega, then multiplied by 100. Ideal range. Tasty Trade research suggests that a higher ratio, ideally above 20%, is more favorable. Consideration. Higher ratios generally mean more P&L over time, but they can also be highly correlated with implied volatility and implied volatility rank. So IVR alone might suffice for some strategies. So what I wanted to do now, option, with all those things in mind, because I feel like you already know this stuff, so we don't really need that up there. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to put the portfolio up there because it gives you these gauges on the very top of the screen. And then you can kind of like give us the context. Like, what does that really mean, though?
Okay.
Because I feel like I got an idea and I've been screenshotting and asking Grok and asking ChatGPT because I'm a student of the game. Like, I know how to make money in the stock market. And in general, I have like that gene, right? That's where give me an idea. I can make money. Like, that's just something that people are blessed with. And that's one of my gifts, right? We all have talents. That's one of my talents. As I see opportunity, I go get it. Let's go make some cash.
Got it.
But I wanted to slow down. I wanted to take a step back and be like, okay, I'm flying the plane. The plane's doing a pretty good job of staying in the air. But then I wanted to take a step back. I saw all of these amazing gauges in the cockpit. And I don't want to just start pushing buttons. I want to know, what do these buttons mean? Why are they there, right? Because those gauges are all there on the cockpit for a reason, right? And I want to really learn my craft. I want to be a master of my craft. So when I see that gauge, it might not sound the alarm for a lot of people, but for the Toms of the world, but for the Dr. Jims of the world, for the options of the world, it will sound a silent alarm, right? Because what's our alarm? You're down $400,000 for the day. Shit, what's going on, right? That's the alarm. But all the while, if you were looking at certain gauges, those alarms have probably been sounding for a month or two. You just saw it today, right?
Yeah.
That's where I'm saying is like, you gotta, it's like that mechanic that puts the computer and does a diagnostic, if you will. So I feel like those gauges are kind of like a diagnostic.
Yeah.
But those numbers don't mean shit to you until you learn what they mean, right? So that's kind of where I feel like I was a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It really started meaning something to me, really meaning something to me about a year ago. And then when I got on the Tasty Trade platform a couple of months ago, they really started to mean something to me. And now I want to make sure that what I'm learning is accurate, because when I first learned how to type, I was in the 7th grade, and it was the home row keys, ASDF, JKL, semicolon.
Yeah.
I learned how to type by putting my hands on the home row keys because I took a typing class in the 7th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I didn't pick up any bad habits. If I had learned how to type just, by memory with the 2 index fingers, because I didn't know any better, it's real hard to erase those habits if you get some formal training, right?
Yes.
So that's where Tasty Trade has been challenging for me, because I came to the platform with a lot of bad habits. And now I'm back in typing 101, wheeling 101, and I'm like, holy shit, TJ, you got some bad habits.
Mm.
You got some bad habits. So I need you to help me and help these people, because there's a lot of people that are not as smart as they think.
Mm.
Have you ever met those people? I meet them all the time.
Okay.
And you know what I always say to myself? If you're that fucking good, why don't you have $100 million in the market yet?
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'm that good. I feel like that's the barometer. Get to 100 million, and then now you're somebody that can move your fucking mouth like you really know what you're talking about. So I still say I'm a student of the game. So if you're sitting in the crowd and you think you're good, but you don't have $100 million yet, I'm here to tell you, I don't think I'm shit, and I don't think you're shit either. Like, go listen to the people who have really done it, who have really done it at certain levels. Because if you can get 1 million, if you can get to 10 million, you should be able to get to 100.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't do that, it's because there's something in there that's just adding water, and the shit ain't working out for you yet. So you got to humble yourself.
Yep.
You got to humble yourself, bro, if you want to get better at life. In my opinion, right? It's my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm probably wrong. So anyway, let me see if I can do this here. Kaleidoscope action. We go here, and then we go here. Are you seeing the screens up there or no?
Yeah, I see them.
Okay, awesome. So let's focus on. Let's take one at a time. So we'll go here on the little one. It's already highlighted, right?
Mm-hmm.
We see a portfolio ending in 47. So the P&L is no bueno, and obviously we see the concentration risk on 3 stocks, right? So those are the gimmies and the gotchas. Shares of shit goes down. Shares of shit goes up. Looks good, right? And then the options buying power, there's the stock buying power. And then here's the delta of 315. There's a theta of 95. There's a vega of -7. So what do those gauges mean to you, option? What does that mean? When you look at that, what can you deduce from that information?
Well, I know the first thing is delta, right? That means I'm positive. That means that I'm directionally positive, positive deltas, right? Instead of negative deltas. So when I see 314, it tells me that, and it's beta weighted to the SPY. So it'll tell you how much you should lose or gain per dollar move in the SPY, right? Because it's beta weighted to that.
Is it $1 for the SPY or 1% in the SPY? Because that's
it getting for every dollar it goes. Yeah, it's 1 for every percent move. Yeah, like
1%, right?
Yeah, that's what you should make or lose per those deltas, right? So the thing is, with it's a ratio that they have, that Tasty has, and it says you want your delta theta ratio to be 1 to 2, right? So for every one delta, you want 2 theta, right? Because it's supposed to balance and even your positions out, because you want to collect more theta than you want to have deltas. I mean, positive or short deltas. Now, when I see that it says 314 deltas, but only 95 theta. That means I'm more directional and I'm not taking in enough theta to be able to collect daily. So I would have to, narrow that out, meaning I would have to get short and pick up some more theta, right?
Gotcha.
then you have your
So what
Vega.
so what you're saying is you have to sell more options to increase your data collection on a daily basis.
Yeah, yeah. And then you may want to, and unfortunately, you might just want to put on short positions, like short put vertical spreads, that can also give you theta, but also give you, reduce some of your deltas a little bit, you
Got
know. And that just depends on how one chooses to hedge, right? Because you want to hedge every now and then to kind of balance your portfolio out. Because with hedging will allow for you to reduce some deltas and also probably reduce Vega, depending on where you at. So like your Vega numbers, when we know if you have negative Vega, that means that you're playing for a contraction of volatility, right? If you have positive Vega, that means you want the market to go up. So if you are a seller, you want to have negative Vega, right? But you have
you benefit from a volatility contraction, right?
Exactly. But you have to watch that number, because if that number is too big and volatility is low,
it could hurt you the other way.
It's going to hurt. It can hurt you because as it expands, then that's where your Vega continues, starts hurting. And then extrinsic value is what we collect, right? We out there when we selling options, we collect an extrinsic value. So you always want that to be positive. You don't want to see your account with negative extrinsic value, because really you're not taking in any money.
So the only reason that it would be extrinsic value is if all I was doing in this account was buying leaps. That would give me positive Vega and a negative extrinsic value. Yes or
no? It will give exactly. You would be looking at more positive Vega and negative extrinsic value, but you can set it to where you can still receive positive extrinsic value, but just be long Vega.
Yeah.
So, it won't necessarily change. It just depends on, your theta at that point.
So just looking at it based on the ratios that Tasty Trade promotes, we could see that the delta theta ratio is totally out of whack.
Exactly. It's a little out of whack. I mean, but and remember, like it doesn't have to. It's an indicator letting you know exactly what's going on. So if you in a position and like, hey, I got 200 long calls, where your risk is, right? So you can manage around that. You know what I'm saying? So like if like I have these calls or I have this is where I'm getting that, that majority of my deltas from, then you pretty much good. You can manage that. So it just depends. But like me personally, what I look at, because like it's a lot of information, right?
Yeah,
it's a lot of information. So you have to narrow that information down.
So what other information do you put on? Because it's called out the dashboard, right? On the very top. What other information do you have on your personal portfolio that you're like, hey, these gauges are important? Because keep in mind, there's a lot of other shit you can put up there, right? Like this thing right here is, what's displayed, what's not displayed. That's on the positions, but like on the header detail, this is where we're getting all of that stuff, right? Like here we have buying power usage, we have buying power usage percent, day trade counter, equity probability of profit, gamma, P&L open, today's trades. I mean, there's a lot of other gauges you can put on here. I just didn't want it so busy. Is there anything on here that you think would be a good idea to put on the header board, if you will, the dashboard?
Go ahead, cancel that out. Let me look. So you have your, let me see. Cancel that out.
This guy? Okay, sorry. Is that better?
So you have your.
So I have P&L.
Yeah,
the
that's
net
good.
lick, the net lick. I have that on privacy mode because I don't know how to see our account numbers, right?
Yeah,
and then because I don't know if all of you guys are good players or not. I don't know. There's P&L for the day. There's P&L year to date. These year to dates are off though, from the standpoint that those P&Ls come over from Robinhood from the standpoint of it shows, Tesla when it was like at 390 or whatever, and then it went down, so they count that as a P&L.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like I didn't actually lose any trades there, if you will, if that makes sense. And then Amazon was at like 230. And then when I bought the shares over, so it brought over a P&L that thank God I keep my own book, because I could look at that and be like, oh, I could go make a lot of money, not have to pay taxes. And that's really not going to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Riot was at like 16, 17 bucks. I bought the shares for 8.50 something or 40 something. And I sold them right at right at where I bought them, like within a penny. So that was a wash, but it's going to be like, no, Riot was at $17. So it threw that into it, created a crazy P&L negative. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that really is not how it's going to work on my taxes. But that's where this, you got to really understand your numbers. But that being said, so there's P&L year to date, there's options buying power, there's stock buying power.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever the options buying power, guys, and the stock buying power matches, that's because you're utilizing portfolio margin. Is that the correct option?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then we got the delta. This is all things being equal. That's how much delta you get for every dollar or every percentage in movement of the SPY up or down.
And remember, that's beta weighted delta. It's beta weighted. That's why you see that beta in the delta, like beta weighted delta, that sign right there beside it. That's a beta weighted delta to the SPY. So it's beta weighted deltas to the SPY.
And you decide what you want to weigh it against. That's the default.
Yeah, and you can. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can do that. Mm-hmm.
And then you have the theta, all things being equal, that's how much money is coming off the clock.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vega, that's your exposure for, contraction or expansion. And then the extrinsic value, if you want to put a dollar amount to it, that's what it comes out to. Mm-hmm. And again, this is all things being equal, right? Everything's staying the same.
Correct.
Which is not very likely either. but that's just how it shakes out. So now
that P&L day, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's a very, very, it's one that I always look at, right? Is because that gives you a comparison to look at. So put in the SPY right now. Put the SPY in and we can just pull it up.
Where
so
right is
SPY, yeah. And this, I always look at that to compare how my, portfolio is going in regards to the SPY. So if you look, the SPY is down what, 0.63%?
Yeah,
right there,
right here on the top. Yes.
But if you look at your portfolio, you say, well, dag, I'm down 2.8.
Yeah, so getting asked.
Right. So it's like, oh, I'm a little aggressive here, right? It's something I'm doing wrong.
I own a lot of shares, right? Just look at it. There's 1,000 shares, there's 3,000 shares. So if Neo, Riot, and TSOL go up, this is looking great. They go down, it's looking horrible.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you're using the metrics, right? Meaning, and it's all based off of the portfolio at the size of it, right? Yeah. Because that's what the metrics is for. They're there so you can evaluate your risk. That's all it is, right? We want to make sure that we're not putting on and taking too much risk just in case things go bad, because we know what's going to happen if things go good. It's easy when it's green, but we have to make sure that we making sure that we focusing on when things are not going good. So I use the P&L day when things are not going good, and I can also look when they're going, when they're going good to see the difference. So like I know, like in this with this portfolio, if everything was green, yeah, you would be up great,
big time. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In regards to how much the SPY is down based off to how much the percent loss of your actual portfolio. So I try to look at that to make sure I kind of can stay within that range, because that's how I do, right? Right. I'm also, I try to stay balanced. So that's one good thing I look at. And it's another metrics up here that you need. Go to just go to the SPY real quick. Go to the trade table.
Okay.
I didn't see this. Just open up any expiration day. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Just sell anything. It doesn't matter. To sell a put. Just sell a put. We're not going to put it on.
It's okay. Right here.
All right. Now, down here, you missing a metrics, and it's called the CVAR.
The what?
So, CVAR. So go to that little reel right here.
This one?
Yep. And See, yep, put that, bring it up some. Bring it up towards like right under extrinsic value.
Right there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Now that's conditional value at risk, right? So what Tasty gives you that number, what it tells you is if you got a standard deviation or either a 2 standard deviation move, that's how much you should be losing at that time. So before you even get in the trade, you can see the worst outcome of how much you should be losing on a significant drop.
Got it. I mean, I put it on here, but I don't see it.
Oh, it's down at the bottom. My fault.
Oh, I see it. I see it. The negative,
my bad.
negative 2,000 over here.
Yeah. So that's conditional value at risk. Like I said, it's that's a metrics that helps. So before you put your trade on, you can see, okay, this is my worst case scenario. Like that's that tail risk.
Got it. So what if I did, a short string when I went over here?
Mm-hmm.
What does that do to this? Oh, yeah. So now you have risk to both sides. So that's the reason that it was. I wanted to see it because that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. So what it tells you is the worst case scenario on a drop of standard deviation to 2 standard deviation. Well, basically your tail risk. That's what you should be down at that time on that position. So that's another good metric that I always look at, before I put my trade on, so I know where I stand, right? But other than that, yeah, that's what we use them for. Now the other thing, like I said, that I look at, because we don't take all of the information and try to crunch it all at one time. You have to pick the things that you know what I'm saying. Pick the things that you like, because they just provide you with a lot of information, but you have to grab what works for you. So the other thing that I use is that the theta to net lick, right, of your portfolio, right? Because that's important. Because why that's important is because you can be too aggressive on the amount of theta that you are collecting.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's one thing you're going to want to look at too, so you can just take your theta numbers and divide it by your net lick, and it should fall in the range of 0.01 to 0.03. You see what I'm saying? And that lets you know that you're within the range of, meaning you got like just mild, you're just in a good spot. But if you got too much theta, then it's like, hey, you need to tone it down a little bit, based off of your account net lick.
So if I pull up the net lick on my phone.
And your net lick is if you closed out every position.
Of course. Yeah. This is your take your ball and go
just
home.
So everybody will know, like your net lick is, if they didn't know, if your net lick is if you just closed out all of your positions and the money you had right there, that should be your net lick.
It's your net liquidation value, right? So I mean, I feel like it's your take your ball and go home price. I'm done playing the game. This sucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And really, the game doesn't suck. You do. But that being said, let me go here to settings, accounts, take off the privacy mode so I can tell you what the net lick is on every account. So on 47, the net lick is 58,500 and it's fluctuating. But call it 58,500.
All right, so hold up. So you said what was it?
58,500. And then I'm seeing here delta 317. The theta is 67. The buying power percentage is 83. That's another metric I wanted to talk about. Tasty Trade is recommending 50% on the buying power percentage.
Yeah. So meaning so say for instance your total buying power, you can use more than 50% in high implied volatility environments.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because that makes sense, right? You're gonna be getting paid. We volatility is always gonna contract or come back to its means. So you can get a little bit more aggressive. But before that, they don't, and it makes sense, not to use too much. You want to leave money on the sideline to be able to take advantage of those moments. So, that makes sense to me in regards to buying power.
Yeah, so essentially, like if Riot or TSLL were to get called away on a green week, and I got that money back into cash, that would really tilt that buying power closer to that 50%.
50%, yeah.
So
And you know where you can find it, right?
That wouldn't be the worst thing.
You know where you can find that ratio of knowing how much buying power you're using?
Well, there's the thing right here. I saw it. Watch.
Cap requirement. Go to cap requirement. Now click that one off and click on cap requirement right beside it, where you was just at. No, you got to click on where you was just at.
This guy right here?
No, right there. And then agree.
Okay.
And then for that account, what is it saying? You're at 83% buying power usage.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what they mean. Like you want to keep that under 50.
Right.
But like I said, that's just a metric. But if you know, like how you just said, you know where you at with your shares. So it's like, okay, I'm good because I can always sell out my shares. Or I can.
And I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of puts open that are going to stress out the buying power, if you will.
Exactly. So it's one of those things, as long as you know where you at, you fine. But if you just got a whole lot, depending on how big and positions you have on, that's when, you know.
Well, I'm easy though. I'm more simple than that. I look at the cash. I got $9,000 right over here in cash. And then I look at what I have in the money. I've got $4,000 in the money over here on this put on Neo 7 days from now. And then I got this, this call over there, so I could kick the whole thing down if I wanted to. Again, I'm doing these short dated ones, so I have something that keeps me logging on, if that makes sense, right? But nonetheless, if I want to get that buying power under control, then I would have to get rid of some of these shares.
Yeah.
And because I can't afford, I don't have enough cash to afford $8,000 of Riot and $4,000 of Neo. If Riot were to go in the money, that's why I kicked Riot out. Earlier I kicked this Riot put out from the 7-day cycle to the 21-day cycle, so that I have those staggered, so I don't have to deal with those because I got more money coming into the account. So I wanted to buy myself a little time, if you will, and bring in a little bit of cash as well. I could do the same thing on the covered calls, but I'm kind of hoping for a green day so that I could get a little bit more money when I roll these out, or I don't have to roll these out. These are going to expire worthless. And then I've got the same thing happening theoretically on these, and the same thing happening on these. So I know that I got more cash that I'm about to print on the account. So that's going to help the cash balance, which gives me a better chance to theoretically take ownership of Riot and Neo. But then I would be at 100% buying power, right? because it would all be gone in shares, and that's one of those things. It's not the best place to be, because the portfolio would be susceptible to a big drawdown, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and like we know, that's just size, right? That's sizing. It's just reducing the size, and that gets you there as well.
So let's keep going on the metric. We got account ending in 33. So let me do this. Let me pull up what the lick on it so that we can get an idea. Wrong one. So I go here to 33, trade this one. So on this one, we have a net lick of 393,000 for context. So then there's you see the options buying power, all that stuff.
Yeah, that one's good too. Sitting at like 2%.
And this one's also utilizing 81.6% in buying power. So definitely a little heavy on the buying power. Like that's one metric that seems to stand out according to the Tasty Trade standard. But that being said, what about this delta and theta ratio? Because the delta is lower than the theta.
Yeah. So like it's just pretty much just 1 to 2, right? So I mean, it's sitting pretty good. I mean, you can boost your theta numbers up a little bit, but it's just a 1 to 2 ratio, right? So for every 1 delta, you want 2 thetas. So I mean, you can
light on the data.
Yeah, light on the deltas. So it's just 1 to 2. So for every one, or depending, you just want two thetas to every one delta. So you can, you know, you can. But I mean, I always try to lighten up on my deltas.
Excuse me.
Because I try to get them as close to neutral as possible. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't want to be too directional. So I try to loosen them, get them down a little bit. But I mean, like I said, that's just one's preference. But how it looks, it's okay. If you can grab a little bit more theta somewhere, that'll kind of help out. But you look like you already,
I got 50 puts over here that I'm babysitting. These are in the distance. These calls are obviously printing. TSLL is the shortest strangle at 12 and 20. So that one's on Sleep Easy Street right now. This guy here babysitting. This PayPal's a covered strangle.
So look, I mean, just with that riot being at 806, where it happened right there.
21 days.
You was about to do something to that one, right?
No, that was on a different account.
Oh, okay. Because with that being right there at 806, you can probably pick up some good credit right there.
You're saying roll into this 49 cycle?
Yeah, I would. I mean, me personally, because you can, with it being right at 806, you're gonna pick up the most extrinsic value right there.
Yeah. So if I wanted to fill right now, I could go right here.
And you get back 15 and some change on that.
Yeah, it's decent.
So, yeah, I would have being that, because like remember when we roll.
Yeah, when you're off camera, you fight for that penny. I'm trying to get shit done. So this is where wheeling live, it cost me money, right? Because offline I would have never done that. But I'm like, well, I'm just gonna sit there and it's gonna be fucking pending for the next 35 minutes, right? And then now I lose my focus. So that's why I really the crowd never appreciates what I do here for you guys.
Yeah.
Invest with Henry ain't gonna do that shit. He'd rather go make a video and edit it and then go collect as much money possible. Here, we essentially sacrificed it. It isn't a lot, but it's 50 bucks. It's $50, right? Essentially, for expediency purposes, I sacrificed $50, and then I hope that Tasty Trade will upgrade me, right? And that's always a possibility as well. But
so what about that TSL?
Where are we at now? TSL.
I mean, not TSL, Neo. Neo.
This is 21 days out. I mean, I could kick this whole thing out if I want to.
Or that bottom one, because you don't have but 3 cents left in there.
Yeah, but I like to keep it together because I got OCD.
Oh,
okay. I can't do what you're asking me to do. I can't do it.
You
can. So 11, I know it won't fill. Neo sucks for this. This is, again, we got to learn your stock. I'm gonna put it on it in the middle, but I know that if I want to get it filled, I'm gonna have to go to 10. But we'll try it there. That's a cool $2,200, so it's not a bad thing. And I just leave it alone. This is just a lateral roll. It won't fill though. That's just Neo sucks. And that's not any platform. That's any platform. You're gonna have to go on the lower end. It's just one of those things. I feel like that's all these brokers are in line, and that's their little arbitrage opportunity. Okay. It's just these are my suspicions, but I have no idea.
I think I want that call up to 4.5, man. Honestly.
What? Oh, you're talking about right here?
Yeah, that on that.
Keep in mind, this is a short strangle. I don't own any shares there, so I don't want to create problems. I can stop talking. You're way more aggressive than I am.
But look at this. Look at the trade. Go to the trade table. And I mean, I just go off of what I see, right? Go to the trade table.
Yeah, but they have earnings next week. This is where you got to follow the company a little bit. Right?
But look at what it ain't even going to move. It's like.
Oh, right here.
You know what I'm saying? It's like
I'm telling you, this thing's not going to fill, bro. I got to go to 10.
Okay, so if we think earnings, hold on. If you think, why don't you? Okay.
I just don't see them. I go from here to take on all this risk for 4 pennies.
6 or 7 cents, bro. You might as well just take that 5 off and just sell a put. Like,
oh, you're saying eliminate the risk altogether?
I'm talking about for the call, because that's 6-7 cents per call. I mean, that ain't really no money, bro. For that risk. So I would just sell a put.
Hold on.
Or honestly, I'd take the whole thing off and wait until after earnings, bro, and then go back in. Because you're already up on the position, right?
Yeah, damn right.
So I think if you know earnings is coming up next week, take the position off. Soon as earnings go, then you get back in. Now you don't have to. You can sleep easy on Neo until after earnings, and take the profits that you got for now and let it be.
Yeah. No, I actually like that idea. It's just the IB is so shitty on Neo now,
Yeah,
bro.
it is. You got to come out.
Neo, SoFi, even the miners, like all the IBs, like just dried up, bro.
That
Dried
shit.
up.
I wouldn't even play that mess.
Ugh, man, it's still a lot of premium when you look
No,
at
you're
it.
not, brother. You just bought a whole bunch of contracts, man. You ain't throwing away. Trust me. You are not, man.
We'll see what it does. We'll see what it does.
But you up about $9 grand. Yeah, come on, man. That's an easy takeaway into after earnings and get back and just keep doing the same
I don't
thing.
even know that I'll revisit it, bro. I like other plays over here. I like Clean Spark better.
Okay.
Like Kristen told Clean Spark at 8.59, Neo at $4. Give me Clean Spark all day, twice on Sunday.
Yeah, man. I looked at Enphase today, man. It's a good trade in Enphase.
Good Enphase, bro. When we get to the big account, Enphase is one I believe. I feel so good about Enphase right now.
Man, it's
like the risk reward in my mind.
Man, hey, look, I'm telling you, it's a good trade over there right now. I'm gonna show it to you.
It's nuts, bro. It's nuts. Anyway,
make sure you get out that Neo, though. Make sure you get out that Neo for real, TJ. Get out that Neo, man.
I already put the little thing.
Don't forget, man.
I'm letting it cook, man. Where are we at here?
So we did the
so this one. So let's go to the 0-1.
Okay.
Let's go to 0-1. So this account's the only one positive for the year. There's a shitload of buying power. So playing this one real conservatively. And then if we go to this cap requirement, we're looking at a buying power usage of 43.9. This is textbook shit, right?
Textbook, correct.
Yeah, textbook. So you see, like hopefully y'all are understanding these gauges because you gotta realize how many tools are at your disposal. And this isn't just Tasty Trade, dude. Thinkorswim, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, Morgan Stanley. A lot of them have a bunch of stuff that Robinhood's barely trying to do with Legend now, right? So it's like people are acting like Robinhood discovered America, but everybody's already here settled down, right? So, I mean, these brokers just give you a lot of stuff. You just got to know what these gauges mean is all. So this one here, we got 1778 on the Delta, 1360 on the Theta, negative Vega 1294 with an extrinsic of 27. So that's the outstanding premium, correct? The extrinsic, the outstanding premium collectively from all of the positions. So what is that? What do those gauges speak to you, Option?
All right. Well, for me, like I said, your Delta numbers, they, a little high compared to your Theta. The Vega is
it's a little light. It's a little light on selling options.
Yeah.
And it's also there's more than that. Is because on this account, if you look, there's 1,829 NVIDIA shares, and then there's 929 Amazon shares. I think there might be 2,500 shares of Riot, I believe.
Okay.
So this is a nice little coverage strangler that was just started, and this Amazon and NVIDIA is doing what it do, right? It's doing okay. And we're just waiting. We're just waiting. We do have a coverage strangle on NVIDIA, and this one feels pretty good at 125. I'm really surprised NVIDIA is going down so much, considering I thought the earnings were pretty damn good.
They always do that.
And then Amazon's, this is Sleep Easy Street over here, 185 on the put and 220 on the call, and it's also covered, so there's no risk to the upside. It's all to the downside.
With that being so close, and it's it's cool. You know me.
And then this is first strangle on TSLL 14 and 20 that is doing pretty good. So I was just testing the waters with this to see how it went because I'm waiting on some technical data on Tesla. Like 350 is a very, very important range for Tesla today. So if it closes below 330, 345, it's going to be extremely bearish on the chart. And if it were to close above, like say 355, preferably 360, then it's a green light still. You know what I mean? It's a real critical day for Tesla on the charts, and then you have robo taxi around the corner.
Look at that again, because when you show me those things and it's like so close, it inches me, because like with 7 days left, you only got 9 cents left on the 20 call. You know, that's you got like almost close to 75% of that. It's like it's no need to hold that risk, bro.
To the upside? You're saying to the upside?
Yeah, I wouldn't hold that risk with 7 days. I'm just talking about if you want to keep the put, then that's fine. But that risk for that 20 call, I wouldn't hold with 9 cents left. It's 7 days, because now what we're talking about, gamma, right?
Yeah. How come
you got to unhighlight it, that top one?
No. I'm saying I wanted to roll the entire thing and expand it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm saying is that I don't see. Maybe there's something on my settings. I didn't see. Like it's not giving me the 49 day like it did on the others. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you're talking about going to the 40. Is it 49?
Yeah, I wanted to go to the 49 day cycle, but
it's trying to take you to the weeklies.
Yeah. So is there something on the settings that I could do? I could expand the options chain for me, if that makes sense.
Go to the trade table on TSL. Let's look at TSL trade table. Yo, okay. I don't know why I don't know why it's not going that far out. But
yeah, I wanted to go here. I wanted to roll over here.
If that happens, just open up the 7 day.
This guy right here.
Yep, open that up and then buy both of those back. Hit the axe right there, and then hit the axe on that one, and then minimize the 7 day, and then go to
the one I want.
So you had the 14 and the 20.
Yeah, but I'd be more comfortable over here.
But first see where your credits. See, I like to see how much I'm gonna pick up in total, and then
it's gonna tell me as soon as I highlight an option.
Right.
If I go here, see right there, I'm getting 168. 168. This right here on the left is giving you everything, right?
Yeah.
Like what you're paying to close and what you're buying to. So right here, hit review and it tells me
$5. I wouldn't go that far.
What's up, brother?
No, you good.
Well, I'm saying 12 and 22. I just feel like the trade got a lot safer. Even though it's a levered ETF and picking up credits.
You're right.
I'm just seeing if there's any customers over here. Well, this isn't a lot of contracts. It could probably fill. It's only how many contracts is it? 25.
Man, you good with that right there? That's perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it cook because I can get it filled for like another $1, but
okay.
But I'm feeling stingy right now.
But that was great how you was able to move that out and get your strikes that you want. I mean,
it's about roll and expand for comfort, and you do it whenever you're in a position of strength. Like I guess if there's something I would like to teach all of you guys, and I know Auction, you know more about this game, but I feel like there's things we can learn from each other.
Absolutely.
It's always easier to negotiate from a position of strength, bro. It's all like, why do you want to wait for the trade to be screwing you to deal with it? You know, you want to be the screwer, not the screwed, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But people get so fixated, and I used to be too. If I'm winning the trade, I ain't doing anything with the trade. But I feel like I sleep a lot easier rolling and expanding winning trades to make them even more comfortable. And let's say there's a breakdown and then Tesla goes down to 12. Well, shit, you just got me excited because now you created a swing trade opportunity for me to go back from 12 to 16, 17, make a quick 20, 30 grand, depending on how many contracts I put on. Because when shares go down and I'm excited, that's when I beef up the contracts. Because everybody's like, oh my God, the risk to the downside. I'm like, well, you're not willing to own shares. I'm willing to own shares and write those shares back up because I'm after the big money. Premiums are peanuts, bro. To me, the big money is if you're willing to write some shares up whenever the opportunity strikes and the iron is hot. The opportunity meets the preparation, meets the capital, meets the conviction. All of these things line up, and your stew is looking and smelling real good. All the ingredients are in the chili, bro. You got to be ready to do it. You got to be okay with the sunshines. But there's too many people that are just afraid.
It could be how they do it on order entry. You know.
Baby doll? Live and in color, baby. Everything good? Did you look for my chanclas? I know, selfish man. All right, I gotta go. I gotta go, baby doll. Be careful. Bye-bye. She went over there looking for something for me option, and then she only looked for her and she forgot about me. Hold on, I gotta take 5. No. My wife gets to shopping, bro, and forgets that TJ even is. I think she forgot I was alive for half an hour.
Dang.
I needed some house slippers, dude. Freaking Gavin got after my house slippers. This damn dog.
And I mean, you know, and I know one thing I've learned, is like most people on their order entry, like what they don't have a plan on how to, you know, go about it. Like myself, sometimes if I sell that put, you don't have to buy all the contracts right then. You know, wait until it drops a certain percentage, sell some more. You know, if it keep dropping, sell some more. So while you picking up the shares at one level and you still selling puts, when you reach your amount that you want, look where you at. So it's just how
I like this trade a lot better option. I'm gonna put more contracts on now. Hold on. Now this shit got fun.
Well, hold on, not now. Don't do it right yet. Wait till your IV increase a little bit because it's only at 23.
Oh,
you'll get more money. Yeah.
That's a good point option.
Hold on. Let it increase when if Tesla start moving crazy in your app, then you add it on.
Yeah, that means I'll get a lot more credit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right now, I ride out.
Look at Amber. How can you be a negative IV, bro? Right over here making records.
Doing that 6, bro.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Soxo 14, man. This thing might be ideal to go to that 49-day cycle also and get it to where it's more sexy. Yeah, roll and expand from a position of strength. Let's see if it'll give it to me though, dude. I don't know why it's not. Okay, this one gave it to me.
That one gave it to you. Okay.
That's so weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm way more comfortable over here. And then I'm way more comfortable over here because this thing could get retard mode. Actually, I don't need to go that low over here. Let me just go here. That's not a horrible
picking up a credit. Long as you picking up a credit, it doesn't really matter.
I mean, it's $1,200. It's better than a poke in the eye. And it's better. It's wider.
Yeah.
$10 wider.
And then we got to remember what our focus is, right? Our focus is our initial credit, right? So if we can pick up a few more credits to really get that initial credit and make that money, then, you know, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, I'm going to let that one cook a little bit. I don't see anything here. This is 1250. Hello. Let me see what happened. Oh, yeah, this thing just looked pretty already. I like those 3s. That was my first baseball number, 3.
Oh, okay.
So we got SoFi real tight, 1250 and 15. Man, look at this shitty ass little Ivy ring, bro.
Yeah.
I wonder if it would make more sense, even though it's not ideal. Hear me out. What if I just close this trade out? It's a winning trade, but
there you go.
and then go put that money over here.
I will wait until IV expands a little bit, so you can.
Another one that has better IV. Look at these little horrible.
So let me tell you what I do if I want to find a trade, right?
Well, this Palantir one is pretty sexy though. Look at this guy right here.
Was high too.
It's still 29. And why don't I expand this trade here? And it's already doing well.
Yeah, it's 20. Yeah, definitely. You got 21 days left. You know, I'm always going to go for that.
No, what I'm saying is, why don't I move this money over here to Palantir?
I mean,
dollar for dollar, I'm getting a lot more over here on Palantir, and I feel I actually feel better about this trade than I do this trade as far as these are short strangles, right? There's the shares aren't owned yet. And I mean, Palantir, bro, I cannot believe this stock is holding up so well. Like this is sometimes you've got to tip your hat, right? This stock is like, like my goodness, bro. Like it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable the performance of this stock, the staying power, this is a cultural phenomenon, right? Like it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Go ahead and take it out though. See what it looked like. Don't forget the SoFi though. You take the profits, bro. The little bit, that it is. I mean, it's nothing.
I was thinking about going over here to this 49 day. Wait, but hold on. When are earnings though?
Yeah, look at the trade table. I think, it's no earnings no time soon. Just go to the trade table.
No, I think if we went at the 49-day cycle, I think we are going to be in that earnings. Or
click on the trade table. It'll tell us right there in the trade table.
So I go here, trade.
Yeah. Go ahead. No, ain't no earnings no time soon. It ain't popped up yet. So you should be good. Normally it'll let you know right there when it is.
Oh yeah.
Earnings.
That's good news. Hold on. So then what about going over here and rolling this thing out to the 49?
Yeah, that joint. Then you got picking up $4. You can move that.
Yeah, but hold on. That's that's not being responsible. What do we go over here?
Yeah, I'm saying you can move it how you want to move it because you're picking up so much credit.
Yeah, I'm on the lower end of that expected range on the put now. I feel better about it. I'd rather just go over here too. And then I have the same width, but
you comfortable with 145 or you can?
Yeah, I just don't see this thing staying there. I don't know.
I mean, your break even, well, that's still at 150 because your break even is at like 150. So if you go to 145, your break even is at 150. So you technically are still at 150.
This is what I'm more comfortable with. I'm actually more comfortable here, and I'm actually more comfortable here.
All right. Well, you got more than a standard deviation move to the downside.
I'm saying that I feel like the risk is to the downside and not to the upside. Like, this is where you got to make a bet. There's a little bit of a bet here based on my thesis, and I would just be a lot more comfortable at $100 versus.
So you got like a break even a little more than 150, and to the downside, your break even like 93, 94. So there you go. There you go.
Do this right here to get.
I wouldn't even tick down on that first. I'll just go to the mid and see if you can get on because that joint's so liquid. That joint got 119 million shares being traded today. So I'd try that first before I tick down.
Oh, that's nice too. A nice little payday.
Oh, yes.
And in my opinion, the trade's better.
Yeah.
Like 100 and 145 is better than 110 and 150. I may do that on the big trade too. Hold on. Let me see if this fills.
Yeah,
I heard something.
Yeah, I'll give it a second because that one is pretty. Yeah, they're moving a little bit, so I'll let that sit for a second. You probably can get that credit.
Yeah, no worries. I don't see anything else here.
So far, what you was going with that one?
This trade's just not. It's not. There's no IV. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I would come out of that TJ. I ain't gonna lie. Keep that money to the sideline and wait for something to happen and throw that back in there. That's me personally. Yeah, because I wouldn't. Yeah, it's nothing.
There's nothing. When I did that, you got to stay in it in order to collect it. Because nothing. What's going to contract? It's already contracted. It can only expand. You know what I mean?
That can only hurt you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, crazy.
So let me show you one thing that I'd like to do, TJ, when I'm going to find a trade, right?
Oh, I did.
So I go to, you see where Tasty down that little center strip?
Dude, look at the IV on clean. This can't be right, bro. How's the IV rank going to be 0?
Yeah, it is 0. But this is the other thing you look at. It got a good IV implied volatility is high. So even though the IV rank is low, the implied volatility is pretty good.
What I was thinking about doing is replacing the SoFi trade with this one.
With Clean Spot?
Yeah, dude, because I know this stock.
Hold on. You got 100 shares up there as well, so you might want to clear that and start over.
This guy right here.
Yeah, so you might have to just clear everything and start over. All right, go ahead.
What is that? Is that 19? I want to be Delta. You should be over here. I feel like the risk is totally to the upside on this stock, so I'd rather be like this. Oh, something happened. Oh, did not have so far. I like it.
Yeah. And that's manageable. Yeah, there you go. You can transfer that money to there. Yeah. Because like I said, even though the IV is 0, your implied volatility is pretty high. So you can't really go wrong. I'll let that.
Let's keep going. Well, I'll go back to this one after. Let's keep the party going. So we got 20. Count 20. We'll call this the Star Trader account.
Okay.
And so we're looking at the delta at 23, the theta 1,000.
Yeah.
The Vega is negative 808, and there's 27,000 of extrinsic.
Right.
So
your theta numbers is a little bit, more higher than your theta.
And then if I look at this guy right here, 80. Hold on, something happened.
That's Palantir.
Okay, and it's using a lot of buying power, 87%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And see, that's why when it's
there's no portfolio margin. If you see the difference right there, guys, the options buying power is 80, and the stock buying power is 160. Yeah. If I look at the net lick to give you that metric.
All right, let me see what that is.
The net lick is 628,500.
All right, so you got 1,000. And you said it's what?
628,500. And we'll look at some of these trades here. So there's TSLL, it's a short strangle, well, partial short strangle because there's 5,000 shares owned, 10 and 18. It's 112 days out. Don't need anything. Don't need to do anything. This one's I manage this one early and often, dude. Like I don't jack with this account very often.
Yeah.
There's 49 days out, 16 and 20 in the money, but nothing to do there on Marathon. On Riot, there's 5,000 shares owned, but there's 100 short puts and calls. Strangle, 8 and 12. I don't really have to do anything there. Tesla's the one's a little bit different. There's a 400 short calls at 16, 21 days. And then there's the 400 short puts at 10, 231 days out. And then there's 400 leaps that are doing surprisingly pretty well. So that one's okay. And then Clean Spark, there's a short strangle at 9 and 14. I don't think there's anything to do there.
Where do you see Riot going?
I think once they announce a deal, bro, it's going to have probably a 15 handle. And obviously I think Bitcoin's going to 150. I know there's other people that say 200, 250. Mm-hmm. I think they're smoking those left-handed cigarettes. I just don't see Bitcoin going there yet. Like you would need like reserves, like the Bitcoin reserves. Like you need the government to get behind it, right? And they're kind of behind it. I know Trump's extremely bullish, but I'm talking about like you need the U.S. government to start buying Bitcoin.
Okay.
I know they hold Bitcoin through whatever confiscations, however that shit worked out. But I'm talking about like we're like, hey, we have this idea that Bitcoin's going to pay off the national deficit in 10 years, and we're going to go buy, whatever $50 billion worth or $100 billion, or however it would work. Then I think that's when Bitcoin goes to them. This is just my own little 3 o'clock in the morning workouts because I do weird shit now. Like I'm working out at 2, 3, 4 in the morning sometimes now because I can't sleep, and I come up with these ideas, and I just go on YouTube and I talk about it, and everybody thinks I'm crazy.
So if you look at that Riot position, right, and you got just a thought, the 112, you got the 12, right, and you had it open for 14 days, and in 14 days you made 50% of the position, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you roll it up to like the 10 or 11? I mean, it's a call. I mean, at least you can lock in those gains and still be in a position, taking a little bit more credit as no, you know.
But I mean, I hear you, but then I feel like whenever I do that, I'm just gonna have to end up rolling it back out. So it's like you're collecting credits now just to give them back later. So really, the only thing you did was lose fees.
No, you lock it in that, but that's locking in money that you're making, right? You locking in that $5,000.
Yeah, and I guess if it moved back up, I could also pick up more credits by
rolling that what's the name down.
I could roll the puts up. Would I even really pick anything up though? Like if I just rolled strike down, is what you're saying? And I go from 11 to 10 just to take on. I'd be right there at the outer end of the expected move. There's customers there, right?
I mean, that's something that, I would do. But
that's interesting.
Because you're locking in, man. At least you're locking in that profit in 14 days. You're locking that in. And my thing is, if it comes back up, I mean, okay, roll that put down. You see what I'm saying? And then you can restructure it. If it comes to a straddle, then we buy the gut, sell the wings, restructure the whole position, and widen out.
Can you talk about that, buy the gut, sell the wings? Because what that means, from my understanding, is you buy a call and you sell a put, or you buy a call and you buy a put. You create a straddle, right?
Yeah, so even you can buy the guts and sell the wings right here. So if you go to that position, it's the same thing. So just go to the trade table.
On right.
I'm gonna show you. So buy the 8 put back. So hit the axe on the 8 put, and then hit the axe on the 12 call. So that's buying the guts, right?
Yeah.
So just sell the 6 put. Hit the bid, and then hit the 13, hit the bid on the 13. That's selling the wings. So you buying the gut, selling the wings. But what you're doing is now you restructuring the trade. So now the mindset of that is,
I'm going to go here, and then now what? So what is it?
Yeah. No.
It's because I have another position. Yeah.
But just hit edit, not close, edit. Yeah.
Hold on.
Right there, hit edit.
Okay.
So the thought process around this is like, say for instance, you're kind of getting challenged.
Hold on, let me cancel this order. That way it'll allow me to do this right here. Okay, now what?
Okay, so the thought process around that is, even though you see you paying the 97 cents per contract,
right?
When you buy the gut, sell the wings, you're restructuring that trade. But what you're doing is you're using the credits that you already received. Right. So if let's say you received a whole bunch of credits from rolling up, rolling down, and turning it into a straddle, then you can say, well, okay, I want to buy the gut, sell the wings to reposition that strangle to be wider. But you use those credits that you already accumulated from your previous rolls. And sometimes if you do it the correct way, you can roll to the next expiration, use that credit, restructure it.
Right, because if you do this and then add more time to the contract, you'd probably be able to do it for a net break even.
For a credit. Or you will use all of the credit that you receive from the roll to restructure the strangle the way that you want it, and then you let it ride. Now that's really what I love doing. That's why I be so aggressive. You see what I'm saying? I can be aggressive doing that because I know, okay, I'm gonna start off with a straddle, but I'm like, go to end phase. Just go to end phase real quick.
We're going to talk about that one on the next account.
Oh, okay. But that's the theory. That's the theory behind buy the gut, sell the wings. It just allows for you to restructure it depending on if you're being challenged, depending on how much credit you're taking in. You can reposition your position.
So let's talk about my baby. So let's look at the net lick first, so you can have that context, right?
31.
So where's my? Oh, here we go. So the net lick's 11.2, 11.2, and obviously, it looks like it bounced a little bit. I was down like 200,000 earlier. I don't know what happened.
Now that one, your net lick. Now Your
Yeah.
net the theta ratio is a little aggressive on that one because that's 2.5. You want it to be like 0.02, 0.1. Yours is 2.5.
Yeah, bro. Well, there's 500
Yeah.
quarter strangles here, so this is going to be out of whack by far, and I'm not changing this. I'm not willing to talk to anybody about my Tesla trade. I got it. Like I got it. So anyway, let's talk about let's start with Palantir. So I've got
Oh,
this.
you dug into Tesla, man. Let me look at Tesla real quick.
I just don't want you to feel like I'm closed-minded, but I promise you.
No, you good. Go ahead, you got it. No, I just wanted to see it. I didn't see.
Okay, so there's 20,000 shares, and I got 500 puts at 300.
Yeah, nothing you can do with that.
500, and I bought 100 leaps already.
Yeah.
Just wait for the book option. This one's going to work out. So
anyway, trust me. I definitely believe you. You know,
I do not recommend this trade for anybody. You gotta have first of all the bankroll. You gotta have the courage, the conviction. A little bit crazy, probably too. This is the company that I'm most bullish on. Mm-hmm. I think that all of the risk ultimately is to the upside. But everybody thinks that I'm worried about this guy right here. Option, I am not worried about that guy. I think all the pressure is ultimately going to be on this one because I think eventually Tesla is going to go revisit the 200s again because people are going to realize that 10 robo taxis isn't going to add to the bottom line anytime soon. It's until they scale and until they get like some orders for those robots and stuff. I just think that Tesla is way ahead of its skis. Is it ultimately going to be the largest, most successful, most profitable company in history? I believe it is. That's my bet. That's why I got this core position right here. Okay. But eventually, if it goes crazy and it goes to like 427, which I think is the absolute highest that it can go in the near short term, and if it gets rejected there, those 20,000 shares are going to disappear. And by that time, I will have bought more leaps as well. And then I'll just start forming my, quote unquote iron condor eventually is what it would probably look like.
Okay.
But I'm not there yet. I'm swing trading these 20,000 shares right now, unless Tesla shows me a reason that these 20,000 shares should be held for the long haul already. I believe there's going to be an opportunity. I know that it's tough because you got to be right twice. I believe that there's going to be an opportunity to sell those shares in the 400s and ride these shares all the way back down to the 200s, and then I can buy them all over again. And that's just something, again, this is my mind, 3 o'clock in the morning. Don't listen to anything I say. What is that Tom Nash guy? These are the somethings of a madman or whatever. The ramblings of a madman. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me.
I mean, that's your assumption, right? That's and everybody has one.
This is what makes a market, right? Everything starts with some crazy ass investment thesis.
Exactly.
And I have this play going on, and I'm really hoping Tesla goes up in the short term. I hope it tanks eventually, and then you're going to see TSO over here. I just unloaded 100,000 shares that I bought at 10.80, sold them at 16.30. I want that guy to go down to like 10 or 11 again, and I want to buy those shares again. I want to ride him back up to 600 or to 16, 17, make another $400,000, $500,000, and all of that shit pays for what I'm trying to do with Tesla.
Absolutely.
I'm saying it's my game plan. This is my baby, right? This is what I'm doing. Hey. I tell people, you do you, boo. I got me.
No question. I'm with you 100%. But hit that P&L right there. Let me see that. Come over here. No, not right there. Go up. Right there. Come across. Come straight across and hit where it say P&L.
Okay.
Okay. That's just where your stock is and how you remember we had already talked about that, but I just wanted to see where it was sitting at.
Yeah, okay. I went at 324.
All right. No, that's your whole, that's everything in that position. I mean, in that portfolio. But go ahead, you good. All right.
So what else? So let's start here. There's nothing to talk about there.
No.
I'm saying I got it, and then I'm just looking at the number that I look at every day is this guy right here. It's 12,500. because I feel like Tesla is going to do this and do that and do that, but eventually that data is coming off the clock. And if I could just get this thing out for another couple, 2 or 3 months, this thing's going to start looking a lot different. You know what I mean? Like that's just the reality is, and when you sell options and your strikes aren't getting, because they're not even getting challenged right now, much less breached. It's bad news for the buyer, right? You're the seller, you're the casino here. Like the buyer needs Tesla to go to 300 or 470 to even have a chance to make money. And we haven't even talked about what their break even is, because if you sell options and collect premium, well, that gets added to the strike price for them, right? So they don't really make any money until Tesla goes to like 270 in this scenario, or well over 500 in that scenario. Like people see these strike prices and they act like the premium never happened, right? So I'm just like, dude, unless Tesla's like legit at 300 or legit at 470, in my opinion, especially when I add another 100 leaps, which is going to happen at some point, or I bring on another 100,000 shares of TSOL, which helps me to the upside. It magnifies to the downside, though, too. But I also have another source of income there with covered calls on TSOL. That's why I love TSOL for helping me here. But again, I'm not doing anything with TSOL anymore on the big account. It's got to have at least a 12 handle on it.
Yeah.
Then I'm freaking excited again, bro. Because TSO will go down. All Tesla has to do is be flat, and TSO will keep coming down and coming down, coming down. And I like thoroughly understand that now. I didn't understand that a couple of years ago. Okay. I'm like, this is the perfect swing trade situation. So you're covered calls, but if there's an opportunity to lock in a profit on TSOL, it would behoove you to do it, in my opinion. This isn't the stock that you're going to write up to 40 or 50 bucks. I mean, you can, you're just going to have to be very fortunate, but it's not very likely to happen, because that would only happen if TSOL makes a beeline. But if TSO or Tesla makes a beeline, right? But if TSO is just kind of doing this shit here, bro, those TSO gains fade away very, very quickly. But let's talk about Palantir. I've got the same trade as the other portfolio at 110, 150. Let me check before we do.
Yeah.
Let me make sure that, yeah. So now you see how it's this one, I feel, sits better. Because if I look at the two trades, all things being equal, 110, 150, or 100, 145, I feel better at 100, 145. 100% hand to God.
And click on both of them and right click and pull up the analysis.
Okay, so we're going to start on the one because we're already there, and then we'll do the analysis on the 110 and see what she says, right?
Okay.
So how do we do that?
Just click on the highlight both of those, right click.
Okay.
To analysis.
Okay.
Boom, look at that. Pretty. Break even like 151, 152.
Do you want to talk to us like we're fifth graders right now? And what exactly does because I see a lot of green, a little bit of red. So to me, that feels like good news, right? So walk us through what exactly are we seeing there, option?
That's just the P&L diagram, right? Your profit and loss diagram. The red is where you start losing money. In the green, long as you stay in that green, you should be profitable, which is no different than when we at the actual trade table and we see that copper strip line, and once we sell something, we see that green line that's down the middle. That's just a better visual of it right here. So if as long as you stay between that 145 and that 100, you're golden, right?
Yeah.
Nothing else to do. This is just a visual for those that are like to see it. So as it stay between that end, you'll break even. You'll make 16,000. At the end of expiration, as long as it's between your two short strikes.
Gotcha.
As it come down, now you that extrinsic value that you picked up, the credits, that expands your break even from 145 to 150 something, whatever that is, 151, 152 on the upside, and 92, 93 somewhere on the downside. So you got a big long range. And what's our job? What we want to do? We want to continue to just keep pushing that out further and further, taking credits further, and go from there. But I mean, you also have to have a percentage goal that you're trying to, make, right? You want to know make. Yeah. So that's all that is, just a visual.
So forget about the fact that you might or may not think that Palantir is extremely overpriced and all that, but just like looking at that trade, you see that little flag on in the middle, itching a little bit more to the right. I mean, that's a pretty comfortable trade right now, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you sitting at 126, your break even is over 150. You got like 20, 24, 23 point move to the upside. Well, quick with the math, you can do the percentage of that. You need what? I mean, I can't do it that quick. I had to use the calculator, but 10, 15%.
About 15%.
Yeah, 10, 15% move up. I mean, I'm cool with that, right? I'm cool with that. Because even if I do get that, I'm going to roll that put up. I'm going to keep rolling that put up. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm going to keep rolling it all the way up. So it's like, I'm good. And then once I keep rolling it all the way up and it's to a straddle, see how I'm going to continue to follow the stock? Because then I'm going to buy the gut, sell the wings. And if I got to now sell a call at 200 and I got a short put at 145, I'm still in the middle of the stock regardless of where it goes.
So now we're looking at the analysis of the present position much bigger. And it's at 110 and 150. And the flag right in the middle, but it's closer to the put than the call.
Correct.
Fairly.
But so your break even is at like 105 and that one like 154. What is it? Yeah, 105.
So the way that this position started, it was at 100 and 140 on 100 contracts.
Okay.
And then I rolled it from 110 to 110 to 150, and then I added 400 contracts. So if you look at it here, it'll show. I guess if we do order chain, right? That's the one.
Yep.
You see how it's got a roll?
Strangle with a roll, yeah.
Yeah, because I started 8 days ago with 400 contracts, 15 days ago with 100 contracts. Okay. So as I got comfortable with the trade, and I had Uzi on here and go over the technicals and all that, I was like, okay, I can make money here.
Okay. So pull this out right here. Go up to your right hand side, all the way up your way to.
But I don't like all the order chain. Let me just get back to some.
All right, go to where the account is up here on your right hand side.
The what? I'm sorry.
Go where it say account, and you know how we pull out that little dropout box on the side.
This guy over here.
Yeah, and then come down to the order chain so we can really see exactly the credits. Oh, where you was just at. Order chain. Come straight down. Come down. Next one. Right there.
Yes, sir. Right here.
So now when you did that roll, click open. So uncheck the close box. Uncheck it.
Okay.
There you go. And that's where you say
I feel like I brought in 235 grand. This is what I think I brought.
So you put the strangle on initially on 515 for 100 contracts.
Right. And it tells you all that, right? This should tell you what happened.
Yep. And then you bought 400 more on 522 and took in
I sold 400 more.
Yeah. $446 per contract. So yeah.
Checks out.
Yep. Perfect. That's so beautiful, bro. I'm telling you, that's all I like to see.
Take a picture of it and go tell people.
Look, that's why I like to see mine, because I look at it from here.
I tried to go on the Mit's channel to talk about this trade because all the Palantarts are over there, but he didn't want me to because he said it was too advanced for his people. And I was like, "What's too advanced? Like to show them how to make money without like owning the shares?" I told them to come see my channel when they were ready to graduate.
And you about to roll it again. So let's see what happened once you do that again from the 21-day mark.
What's up?
Because you at the 21-day mark now. Let's see what you can pick up.
I don't even
You
want to
roll
know
that?
because I don't want to roll it. I'm greedy right now.
Bro, come on, man. Don't do that.
I
Don't
mean, I
do
can
this.
live. Here's the chance
Don't
to
do
pitch.
it to me, man.
I was like, I want to keep this trade. I'm winning this trade. I think.
Don't do it to me, bro. You killing them right there. I just look at all that credit you got. Don't give it up.
Let me go get an aquapana and pitch get an aquapana and pitch to the crowd on why I should roll it now, because this is the tasty trade way. It's 21 days. So I'm going to give y'all like 1 minute where you pitch the crowd. And if I see enough comments, I'll consider rolling it.
Okay, well, do this for me. Pull back out that side, the dropout box on your right hand side, so I can pitch it. So okay,
you got what you need?
Yes, that's all I need.
The floor is yours. I'm going to go get another water.
All right. So now, as we can see, right, and this is to the crowd, we had originally started this position on 515. That's at the bottom. He sold 100 contracts, 36 days out. He took in $4.24 per contract. He made another roll on 522 with that 100 contracts. He elevated the strike from 110 to 100. So he rolled up the put. Oh no, he just rolled the put out then. Okay, but anyway, he took in $1.46. Then he added contracts to that. He added 400 contracts. So now he's sitting at another $4.40 of credit per contract for that. So his total credits are $4.71. So if we look up to the right-hand side, the trade price is $4.71, but he's marking at $2.71. So he done already took in over $2 per contract, right? Now we sitting in the 21-day. Now, in the 21-day cycle, what happens? As we start going down, we take on gamma risk. We want to avoid that gamma risk. We got a pretty good high IV. So that's another good metric to say, okay, I want to stay in the trade. Let me go ahead and roll this out to the next 49-day. I'm going to pick up some more credit. I can adjust it, get a little bit longer, however I choose to want to do it. Add on to that $4.71. We create a better break even, a better break even on both sides, and then we can sleep easy.
So I'm back. Option. What has anybody commented, or everybody's feeling greedy like TJ? I'm feeling greedy. I got aquapana. I got strawberries that are going to expire in like a day or two, so I'm going to eat them all today and probably get the runs.
Yeah.
SoFi is closing out on the other position because SoFi, the premiums just are not there right now on SoFi.
Yeah. And the fact, y'all, we're gonna lock in $100,000.
What?
We're gonna lock in $100,000.
For real? Oh yeah. Oh shit. Okay.
We're gonna lock in $100,000. So everything that I just said, and I forgot to mention, we're gonna lock in $100,000.
So let's look at it. So we go roll. The only thing I'd be interested in doing is going to the 49-day cycle.
Okay.
So I'd be going here and
$5 a contract.
I got to go over here. And the one thing that I would like to do is I like to go from here to here. I'm more aggressive on this account.
Okay.
And then I'd probably just say I want to go here, but I really feel like the right move is to stay there. Okay. because Palantir has a way of doing Palantir things, right?
Yeah, that's a standard deviation. Okay.
Yeah. So I feel like staying put on the call side and getting a little bit more comfortable on the put side, because what we did on the other account is I went here and then I took on more risk over here. That's what I did. So let's look at that. It's 409 in credit, right?
Yep. $4.
The smart play is to go here. But god dang, that's a lot of money, right? This is where the greedy angel and the responsible devil, or however it is, right? The greedy devil and the responsible angel are on the shoulder. So it's like, what do you want? Do you want to collect a bunch of premium, or do you want to collect a more modest amount of premiums and not have to manage the trade? I'm of the mindset of I'd rather collect more premium and manage the trade, because if I happen to get, quote unquote, lucky, I got more premium to show for it, right? That's me.
Yeah.
This is a responsible trade in my mind, is to spread it out a little bit on the downside, because again, I have a theory, and my theory is that Palantir is extremely overvalued. I almost feel like it's a fact, but Mr. Market says you're stupid, telling me I'm stupid, right? Because I felt like this thing was overvalued at $20. You know what I mean? So that tells you how wrong I was.
Well, come down to the, I would come to the 105, go to the 105. This is what I would do. Come to the 105, and I would take that one to the 160. That'll give me a 16 delta wide strangle.
Yeah,
now I'm sitting on 16, almost 16 deltas.
That's not enough credit.
Oh, but look how, I mean, now you're
only picking up 120 grand. I picked up 235 on the initial. I'm looking for another 200.
Okay.
That's just not, it's not enough credit. So what I do, I get edit order. Is that what you do?
Mm-hmm.
So I say right here, stay right there. What does that look like? Now that's looking a little bit more of my style. Okay. Now that's another couple hundo coming in the bankroll, and it's increasing the buying power by 207.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel good there at 105. Now if I go over here to 100, which is what I feel like I should do, but I think it's only going to put me in like 150. Yeah. See, that's the responsible thing to do. And this is where I struggle because
let me ask you this, TJ.
Because so I get a little premium drunk with the dollar amount.
Yeah.
Right?
But and the reason why I say that is because, see, for me, all I'm going after personally is what the trade I initially made.
See, and I'm not doing that. I'm looking for a legitimate $200,000 a month in income. Like that's the objective. Like I want this trade to finance Tesla. That's the objective. That's why I put it on. Like this true story. That's why I put it on. I was like, where can I go find a trade that I could sleep pretty well at night? That's going to have enough IV. That's going to have enough juice in the lemon, so that I could use that money to go buy some leaps on Tesla, so I could protect myself against this massive short strangle that I'm in.
Correct.
So I was looking for another source of income. I stumbled on Palantir. Not really stumbled on it because I've been in it since day one DPO. But I was like, there's $100,000 bill there. I know I can get it easy, and I've already proved it in my mind, right? Things could obviously collapse at any time with the president and Elon and China and Alex Clark. I mean, there's a lot of risk everywhere. I mean, if you don't want any risk, just stay in bed, right? I'm saying, like, there's always risk with something. With the markets, what I'm saying. That's why I mentioned Elon and Trump and stuff. Like the market's crazy right now. So my whole thing is I'm willing to continue to roll this position over and over. That's why I didn't mind staying in for another 7 days so I could collect more extrinsic, because then the premium is going to be more massive on the roll. But then now I have to subject myself to what? More gamma squeeze, right? Because everything's going to be amplified and everything's more sensitive. The closer you get to expiration, everything's more sensitive. Like, I don't know another way to simplify it. Maybe you could simplify it better than that option.
No, that's how I would do it right there. That's how I say it. I mean, this is good though. I mean,
150. I mean, 150 is okay, but if I was willing to handle it at 110, I should be able to handle it at 105, right? Theoretically.
I mean, you outside the expected move by about 10
right
bucks.
There. I'm right outside on both of them.
Yeah.
And then that gives me just about the 200 that I was looking for. I fell a little bit short. If I stay in the trade another 2 or 3 or 4 days, then that gives me that. So this is other higher level stuff. Saturday and Sunday is going to roll around. That data has to come off the books. I have read a bunch of articles that say, and I went to a class that says you don't collect data on the weekends. It gets baked into the cake on Friday. At what time? The quote unquote experts say it happens between 2 and 2:30. So I feel like at some point there has to be a change here, and I would theoretically get more credits if I waited for another few minutes as we got closer to the market close. This is just, these are legends, right? These are I don't call these facts because I've never like studied it enough to like really know that that's true. But there is no data collection on the weekends.
Yeah.
But then there's going to be people that are going to cut and paste some formulas that say otherwise because they're going to see 365 days attached to it. But then my whole thing was, okay, well then you're telling me I could sell puts on Friday and go collect that data on Monday, and that would be like an infinite money glitch. Right? It's not going to be that easy.
Yeah.
Because shit gets baked into the cake. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. You got a bunch of nerdy people that watch the channel. What do they say?
Yeah, I'm not giving up that $100,000 that's right in front of me. I don't care how much. Because you can wait. You can come in Monday and anything can happen, right? Because we don't know. And now you done. Even though you picking up premium, you pick up the premium, but you lost the.
So hear me out. Here's another school of thought.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope y'all can appreciate how open-minded I'm being right now. Because my intent is to just hold this shit to expiration. I'm winning the trade. That was my mindset going in. Fair enough?
Yeah.
But I'm willing to engage in a conversation because I'm a student of the game and I'm always here to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I just happen to be the one with the microphone.
Correct.
But I'm here to learn.
Damn right, we all are.
And I learned from you. Everybody that doesn't know, y'all should know. Me and Auction talk on the phone frequently.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I coach you on some things and you coach me on a lot of things. That's just the reality of our relationship.
Yep.
I do the same thing with Dallas Matthew. He'll call me out of the blue and we're going to shoot the shit.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost touch with Mr. Premium of the option, but he's somebody that I could have shot the shit with too.
Yeah.
I don't talk to Bill White as much, but he's somebody that I could shoot the shit with too about this game offline.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Bob, the boring investor. I think he changed the name of his channel. I'm not sure what happens. I don't find it anymore. Bob Hanson.
Okay.
Somebody that I shoot the shit with as far as options go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the book says, let's just agree on something. The Tasty Trade book, the handbook says, I should just lock in a win and call life good. In other words, close the trade completely. Let some information play out, and then I can put the trade on again. Or I should roll this to the 49-day cycle. That's pretty much the Tasty Trade textbook way, yes or no?
Correct.
So now the question is, what would the Dr. Jims of the world do? What would Tom do here? Well, first of all, I feel like Tom doesn't have the guts to do this trade, period. And, one day I'll meet him in Chicago and I'll tell him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I took it off for he could eat, baby, but he hasn't been licking himself. But if he was in the trade, I feel like, and the reason I say he doesn't have the guts, he doesn't have the courage, he's too smart to do this trade, right? He's going to see the risk and reward and be like, I could go do 10 other trades that are going to ultimately make me the same money and never take on this kind of risk. You know what I mean? It's just, there's different styles. Like he's way too seasoned to take on a trade like this of this magnitude. In my opinion, right? In my opinion.
The amount of contracts.
He wouldn't do it. Let's just call a spade, he wouldn't do it. Dr. Jim certainly wouldn't do it. Mm. But that being said, I would. That's why I'm me and they're them, right? And that's why we're all different. And that's a beautiful thing about this thing called life.
Correct.
So how do you feel about 150 and 105? Because I feel like I de-risked the position a little bit, because if I left it at 110, look what miraculously happens to my credit collection goal. Remember, I was going for 200 a month, right? Mm-hmm. You see how that's 250 almost?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I'm just saying, I feel like I'm already being overly conservative going from 110 to 105. Because I mean, if you could do it once, you could do it twice, right? Like the 50 Cent song. So why not keep it at 110 and then manage it if I need to manage it?
I'm in agreement with that. I am. Because when you look at your break even, look where your break even at. Scroll down. Keep coming. No, the other way. I mean, I always say down for some reason, but it's actually
38. They have not. No, baby, I got on YouTube when I fed them. I'm sorry. Go ahead, option.
Scroll down.
Where to, brother?
No, the other way. Other way. I'm trying to look at your break even. So you got to break even at what? What's that like? 100? Little, you know,
Yeah,
102, somewhere around there. I'll be cool with that.
My wife is asking me if she could take money out of my wallet. I mean, surely she knows that it all belongs to her, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm lucky that I'm eating strawberries right now.
Definitely. Yeah, so that's good because look where your break even is. So even if you got 110, your break even is still up there about like 100. So
let's ask the how many people do we have watching? I can't even see on my screen right now.
I didn't.
Let me go this way. I can't. I guess nobody's watching. It's just me and you.
Oh.
We have somebody else joining the team here real quick. 60, awesome. Hey, roll, not to roll. And if I roll, I'm not doing anything with the call. I'm going to leave that at 150 because that's the right thing to do. In fact, the right thing to do is probably put it at 155 because Palantir is Palantir, bro. Does weird shit. Roll to one, keep it at 110, maximize the premium, deal with it if it crashes, or roll to 105, roll to 100. Let's not even talk about roll to 100 because it doesn't matter if anybody says roll to 100. I'm not going to do 100. I'd rather leave the trade on than roll it to 100. So that one's out. So the question becomes, do I go grab the premium and go grab the bag and keep it at 110? Or do I be a little bit more responsible, de-risk the position a little bit and roll it to 105? So BR Baller, are you on the thing, BR Baller? You can talk. I added you to this.
What's going on, guys? How are you?
I'm chilling, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
So you're saying roll to 105. Why?
I mean, I've been saying this for a while. I just think at some point the downside's going to happen on Palantir. I just don't know when, but I feel like I've been saying it forever, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And 105 is, I mean, it's a big difference, 5, especially with Palantir. I think for sure it's a much better bet. You can sleep better at night.
But I mean, can't you just roll the position though?
Yeah, you could.
I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to take ownership of Palantir unless I could eventually roll to like $80. So I would be in this thing for the next year until I can get to that level because I just don't think Palantir is worth the money. I cannot believe it's ever trading up here, but I mean, I wanted to find a way to make money with it, and here we are.
Yeah. So you're at 110 right now, and what's your upside? 140?
150.
150. Okay, yeah. So the 150 is good. Yeah, if I were you, I would do 105, but you know more than me. But that's just my opinion. But you should be fine regardless. Even right now, you should be fine. I mean, it's consolidating right now in the 120. It's not really doing anything.
Yeah, it's building a new floor. This is going to serve as, depending on the move that Palantir does from here, this level that it's been hanging out here is going to be the new support or resistance, right?
Yeah,
if it goes down, then this is the new resistance. If it goes up from here, then it's got another floor of support, right?
Yeah, I really don't know how it's going up. It's like Tesla. It doesn't make any sense to me. It really just doesn't.
Me neither, but I'm not here to make sense. I'm here to make dollars.
Facts. Same.
How's that for a quote of the day option?
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Option I got out of Novo.
Okay.
And then now I'm in General Mills. You know that stock?
Yep. General Mills. GM?
Yeah, GIS. I bought calls on it.
Okay.
It's one of the only green stocks today. I'm telling you, this is the best buy in the whole market. And I say that about every stock I'm in, but I find a new stock like every month. I'm telling you, this will make us retire. I swear to God.
So why is it the best stock? Give me an elevator pitch while I'm pondering this trade on Palantir.
Because the PEG ratio, PEG ratio is at 1.2, and anything below 1.5 means it's undervalued, like 100%, no debate. and it's trading at a 10-year multiple earning low. Like right now the PE ratio is 11. The last time it was this low was 2018 and it bounced. So it's at a historic support fundamentally, because I don't believe in the technicals. So the fundamentals always speak for it. And then also it pays a good dividend. And I think the market's high right now, so people will go for it for safety. And it's tariff proof. It's basically tariff proof because it's most of their money's in the US. I'm telling you, it's the best. I'm up on it right now, but I think it's gonna go to 60, and it's trading at 54.40 right now.
Yeah. What strikes you got?
I got the 50 naked calls 2027. And I paid 832. I put 30K in it.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. I actually like it.
So help me out. BR, you said 1.2 PEG ratio. That's
Yes.
price, earnings, and growth, right? So taking
Yes.
everything into consideration.
Correct.
But so that's low
Yes.
by just the general market standards, right? Because the PEG ratio is usually what, like 1.5, 1.6?
Yeah,
but doesn't it depend? But doesn't that depend on the industry? So I guess I would need to know before I just get excited about it, because I'm kind of excited, but I'm trying to like chill out. We're live.
Yeah.
Is who is the competitor to General Mills, and how is the market receiving them? Because when I get excited is when something is cheap compared to its competition, but yet it's performing better, but for whatever reasons, Mr. Market hasn't rewarded them, right? Kind of like I look at Affirm and I look at SoFi. I look at Lending Club, I look at SoFi, and I'm like, why don't y'all like SoFi? You know what I mean? All it's doing is growing, and it's had a bunch of headwinds that it's dealt with. A lot of companies would have gone out of business if they had to deal with all of the things that SoFi had to navigate with. And the only thing that it did was grow and grow and grow. They turned off the growth for a little bit. And then here we are. So, but now they've turned on the growth again, but still not getting any reward. So those are the types of things that make me feel like SoFi is cheap, because I look at the stocks in their quote unquote industry and the premium that they're getting from the market, if you will. So how does General Mills compare in that regard? And who do they even compare to? Like when I think of it, do I think of Procter and Gamble? Like who am I thinking about?
You're thinking about kind of like Kraft and Heinz, Nestle,
Hershey's?
No, not really Hershey's, because General Mills is like it's all the cereal brands, you know, like all of them, whatever you can name. They own Haagen-Dazs. They own a bunch of brands. And I saw the comment. Someone said I said the same thing about Novo. I know. I always. You have to love your stock. So
you always love the girlfriend that you're with, right?
You have to, I love to marry the stock that I'm in, because like it just builds the conviction higher and higher. Because I only play one position at a time, TJ. I don't have anything else. The rest is cash. I'm 90% cash. So this is basically like I'm not collecting any premium. I'm just waiting for a big payday. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for General Mills to write me the check that they owe me. And I'm hoping, like, I really want to retire off the stock. I swear.
I hear you, baller, but General Mills doesn't know your shit. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
General Mills doesn't know that you're only playing this stock. General Mills doesn't give a shit about you. Just like Anthony Noto and SoFi don't give a shit about me. That's the reality of it. I'm just saying, I don't want you to like concoct these stories in your head and then you say them enough to yourself that they're actually real to you. That is just not the world that we're in. So be careful with that mindset. Just a word of caution, if you will.
No, of course. But to answer your question, the PE rate, the industry PE ratio for General Mills, the industry that it's in, the industry average is 17. It's right now at 12. So it's way undervalued.
Yes.
And hedge funds bought 5.1 million shares of Q1 of this year, and they've been selling most of the other stocks.
Well, you're definitely buying at a good time, because I mean, it is the price is low. So I'm always in agreement when you're buying them cheap, right?
There's no better buy in the whole market. I looked at every other stock. It's the best one in the world.
Cheap, though, TJ. They are cheap. The price is cheap based off of where it can be. And, you know, I look at that one metric that we look at on Tasty Trade. That, you know, I right click on the call and it tells me where the price level is. And it's at the bottom. So you damn near buying it at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is if you want to make easy money, this right here, it's free money. It's like taking candy from a baby.
Yeah.
They can go up. The highest I've seen it is up to about $5 a contract. Right
Like
now, they got like $1.74.
right
So
now, I'm up 25%. So I'm up 7. I'm up, oh, something just failed.
Hello.
there you go.
TJ, what happened? What failed?
I just made a quarter mil. No, no, I collected another quarter mil. So I went from 110 to 110 and 150 to 150. Added time to the clock, right? We're 21 days out.
Yeah.
The Tasty Tradeway says roll out. So I did. And so if I pull up this order chain
Yep.
option, what happened? Do you see it there or not yet?
That's 40. Yes, there. You picked up $4.95 per contract. So now you got a total credit of $9.66 per contract.
So we multiply that times 500. What's the math say?
You got shit.
So 966 times 500.
Mm-hmm.
So now we go to the tune of 483,000.
Mm-hmm.
Is that more than 200,000 a month?
Oh yeah.
It
And
is,
the
right?
it's marking at 777. So now you get that mark down. It depends on how far you want your mark price to go down. Another $2-3, and you can go from there.
I'm hoping I can keep rolling and rolling and rolling. And at some point, I've collected enough credits that now I want to expand the highway and take in less credits on those rolls so that I could theoretically position myself to ride out to expiration so I could realize the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's the idea. So how would that happen? What does that look like? 5 or 6 months down the road, 80, 160, and I'm not going to invite option to the channel until it expires. Because he'll talk me into rolling it again. so that's the game plan. I hope y'all appreciate the insight y'all get on this channel. I know we're small, but guys, we do give it to y'all. Yeah. We do give you the info. Are you there, Dallas? Hold on. Dallas.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, what's up, brother? Talk to me. How come you're not on the screen, dude? With all your muscles, we could get better ratings, my man.
Yeah. What's up, Dallas?
Yeah, I'm at work. I might have to go to a different location soon. So if I get there, I'll turn the camera on.
Hey, what's going on, Dallas?
Not much, man. I've been my biggest play recently has been Elf. That's what I've been working with. I bought some leaps back when it was in the 50s. So that's been good, man. Those things they bought Haley Beaver's company or something like that, and it was up like 30% yesterday. So that one's been good. And then sold my portfolio looks a lot different. Sold all my Meta and all my Microsoft, put that all into Tesla. So if we get a big pop next month or we get back over 400, I'm probably gonna sell it all, to be honest with you. I think Tesla probably will come back down at some point once the hype dies down, over this event next month. And I know Elon's back in the, sleeping on the floor again or whatever in the factories. I don't think that's really going to move the needle too much.
Sure.
I don't either, but I think that Tesla needs results. What do you think, Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, 10 cars is not really impressing me too much. But we'll see. It's all it's going to take is one little thing going wrong, and that's going to, really hit. Like if one of these cars gets into an accident or whatever, that's going to really hurt, the stock. So I don't want to put a third of my portfolio up, to chance for one of these vehicles makes one wrong turn.
Yeah.
So
I think that it's going to be awesome, but even if it is awesome, I also think, okay, well, That's still a couple of years away before it would actually be anything halfway substantial on the balance sheet. I know the market's forward looking, but just how forward looking can it be and for how long?
Mm.
Because we still have to consider the fact that it's declining revenue. The margins have been compressed for some time now. And their actual core business doesn't have the lead that it had on the electric vehicle world. You know, like BYD has in some, and just if you look at the actual selling of the cars, you can argue about whether or not the numbers are true or not. I don't know, but a survey says they sell more cars than Tesla now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, does that matter? Or Tesla's not a car company? Well, I mean, I don't know. I read the financials every now and again, you know, like every day. And at the end of the day, can't we all agree that over 70% of their income still comes from selling cars? So, I mean, if that's the case, I feel like if it smells like a duck, looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, isn't it a duck that does something else too? It's a unique duck, but it's still a duck at the end of the day. It's still a car company at the end of the day that has a huge technological component, and it's got the robots. It's only the only publicly traded company that you know you could do the robot thing with. I think I'm not sure Boston Dynamics. There might be another one. I'm sure there's others, but that's what I heard in a YouTube video. I didn't know. I don't know if it's true, but that's the play. You know, like Amit's in one of those plays, right? Whatever figure, but that's like he had to get the right connection to be able to invest in that company before they go public. If they ever go public, they probably will. Tesla's got a lot of verticals, The semi, that could be extremely disruptive technology as well. But I'm talking about like what's here right now, And I think that's where Baller, if you want to step in a little bit, I think that's his big issue with Tesla is, isn't all of this shit already priced in anyway? I mean, what kind of PE ratios are we going to land on? Or are we just going to believe Elon when he says, oh, we need to price companies differently? Well, how else are you going to price them? I mean, the present value of all future cash flows. At some point, you're buying into the company. So, like, how much are you willing to pay? And then when are you going to get a return on that investment? Like, how does that look?
Yeah, I agree. I think all and any good news is more than priced in, not just priced in, more than priced in. I think the intrinsic value, I mean, like if you ask any AI bot like online, it says it's worth $50 at liquidation. So it's like, I think reality will hit, and the PE ratio is almost 200. So that means you're paying $200 for every $1 they make, which is ridiculous, especially because their net income drops 71%. So like, I think it's the same thing with Palantir. I think reality will hit. I just don't know when. Like the market's a casino. It's a rigged casino.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's like I had to quote earlier, like we can either make dollars or cents. It's nice to make both at the same time, but right now I'm choosing to make dollars because it's hard to make sense of these valuations. But this is the market that's in front of me. I trade what's in front of me. And I found a trade that I'm halfway comfortable with in Palantir. And if I'd have lowered it from 110 to 100, I'd be more comfortable. But when I can put an 80 or a 70 in front of it on the low side, that's when I'll be like, okay, I've collected enough credits. Even if I have to go take a bath temporarily on these shares, if I look at the adjusted cost basis, I'm probably still going to be in a pretty favorable spot. If I can stay in the fire, stay in the pressure, right? That's why diamond hands, like I feel like it's because pressure makes diamonds. So if you can handle the pressure and hold the position, hold the stock long enough, it's like you earn that moniker of diamond hands. And it's also, it could be very, very lucrative, but it could also be very expensive if you're on the wrong side of the trade.
Mm.
Hey TJ, so something I've been doing, we talked about this probably like a year ago, but I know you were with Robinhood, and so it wasn't an option. But
Right.
when you're doing these strangles, you know how you discuss the most basic but also most effective way of management is just to, if you get breached on your short call, just to purchase the shares. You can do leaps as well, but easiest would just be to
The easiest way to take pressure off of the short strangle is turn it into a cover strangle. That is
right.
a
So
problem is people get into these strangles and they don't actually have the money to turn it into a covered strangle. So I feel like you already don't have the right ingredients to be in that type of trade, in my opinion. What say you? You have a wealth of knowledge, bro. Talk.
Well, yeah, but what I'm explaining is that you can do the exact same thing to the other side. I know it's not something you want to bring to the channel yet, but if your put gets challenged, it's
Buy
the
the
exact
long
same.
put. Buy
Just
the
the
long
other
put.
side. All you have to do is short the stock.
Yeah.
At that point,
Yeah.
you're selling short 100 shares. It's the exact same thing. So I've been doing that, and it's extremely effective because you only have unlimited risk if you manage it improperly,
Yeah.
or don't manage it at all. And so, I've been doing strangles to where I don't really feel any pressure because you can, like you said, keep expanding, keep expanding. If I get challenged on either side, I either buy the shares or I short the shares, and then eventually it'll expire, and then you're good.
Oh, I have a buddy who grew his account to 1 million. I consider him a mentor, not even so much because of that, but more because of his age, and we have like a spiritual. He guides me a little bit when I go off course. You have to have those people that kind of like get you back in line when you. I think they call it backsliding in your Christian walk, your spiritual walk, and I'm like the king of backsliding. Uh, but anyway, he grew his account doing short strangles, but he also had the money to turn it into a covered strangle if there was pressure to the upside. He never hedged to the downside because he felt like the short call was more effective than buying puts, because the short call, he's collecting premium, whereas if like you buy puts, you're paying out premium, and he was in the business of premium collection. And so he was like, I never felt the need to hedge to the downside because I shouldn't even be selling that short put to begin with if I don't believe in the stock. Like that was always his core tenet. And he's like, and a lot of people, they get away from the basics, like they get premium drunk and stuff. But if you don't want to like ultimately be in the stock long term, because you might find yourself in a situation where you are bag holding for a while because the trade just went awry. I feel like Dallas and the Bill Whites of the world experienced that with Elf if they've been in it for some time, because things were really good. Everything was optimistic and sanguine. And then whenever I was in New York in February, the shit tanked big time. And if Dallas was in that trade, he had to feel some pain there. So there better have been some conviction so that he could maneuver, because I know Bill White had conviction and he was able to maneuver. And now he's on the winning side of things, or at least, working his way towards it. So what do you think about that philosophy, Dallas, of how like, well, if you're selling short calls anyway, those theoretically have an unlimited risk. Whereas on the short put side, does it really have an unlimited risk? I mean, is Tesla going to go to zero? Very freaking unlikely, in my opinion. I think that the floor is what? I don't know, 150, 200. So I'm sitting at 300. I collected $4 million in credits. I mean, and I could just slide to 280, 260, 250, and then eventually find yourself at 200. I mean, so I don't understand why people keep throwing out this unlimited risk word thing. I think it's just because the chart shows you that option. Dallas, like, what do y'all say about that stuff? Because I think that unlimited risk is all bullshit. Theoretically, it's true to the upside, but to the downside, I mean, if you're talking about a company like Google, Amazon, Tesla, like what unlimited risk to the downside are we really talking about here? Because I'm not seeing the same movie.
Well, for me, like if like you pushed I think that guy yesterday was alluding to this a little bit, but he never really went into it all the way. When you pushed your calls out all the way, basically 7 months, on your Tesla, now if you do get a big drop in the stock and you get assigned in the 300s, your calls aren't really helping you too much because they're so far out to where even if you roll them down, you won't be able to roll them down enough to pay for the losses on those puts. If you're happy at taking assignment at the 300 level, then that's great. But you don't have the buying power to purchase those shares in this scenario, this
Right.
hypothetical scenario. Or if like Tesla tanks to like 200 or sub 200, now you have a scenario where your calls aren't really printing because they're so far out, and then you're screwed on your puts as well because you got assigned at 300, now it's at 200.
But my puts are also 7 months out. So you've been in the game long enough to know that even if it tanked to 250, are those calls really, are those puts, are those shares really going to get put on me with 230 days left on to expiration?
No, but hopefully, like in your
But
scenario,
what's going to be affected is my buying power. Let's go. Where is really the risk? The risk is the buying power is going to disappear overnight. So you're going to be in, and again, I feel like that's why I've been running the not financial advice banner over and over, because I feel like what I'm doing, if you're not adequately capitalized and have like game plans that if this happens, you're going to do X, Y, and Z, you could legit blow up your account. And then it could happen to me too. I think it's extremely unlikely, especially to the downside, because I'm not that stubborn, bro. I've already shown it. I'll cut positions, right? Because I was at 635 calls. Now we're at 500. And I minimized from 535 to 500 because I had that win on TSOL. So I feel like I had a tax-free situation there, or a tax advantage situation, if you will. So I was like, well, let me play smaller, because I was anticipating more money being into my account, and it took an extra couple of weeks. So it put me in a little bit of a bind for a short amount of time. But I'm like, I'll buy 200 more leaps. It sucks because it costs 1.8 million bucks, but luckily it's there. And then now I've already eliminated all the risk to the upside, and now I'm just managing to the downside. And that's why I said from day one in this trade, everybody thinks I'm worried about to the risk to the upside, but I feel like to me the risk is to the downside, because to BR Baller's point, bro, Tesla is whack. Like, it is so overpriced, it's comical to me when I look at the financials, and the only thing that is propping it up is Elon Musk's charisma, in my opinion. And these hopes and dreams of robo-taxis and robots, and I think all of that's great in 2030, but we're in the year 2025. So again, let's talk about the stock market for what it's been historically and what it is or is not anymore. This is where there could be a huge disconnect. It's a forward-looking instrument. That is an absolute fact, I feel. But how forward-looking can it be? Like, how long is the market going to be able to give Tesla this type of premium if they have another earnings report like the one that they just posted? I mean, people act like year over year, 71% didn't happen to the no bueno side. So I mean, I'm bullish on Tesla long term, but I'm extremely bearish short term, and that's why I structured the trade the way that I did. And I've never bought puts on the channel, but make no mistake about it, this will be the first time if I see it technically totally break down, I'm going to bite the bullet and buy puts, because to Dallas's point, the short calls might not be enough to hedge me to the downside, if you will, because the buying power dissipates, and then I could be in a world of hurt to the downside.
Yeah.
Let's expand on those thoughts, and maybe I've just lost my way here. Like, I'm willing to listen. I listened to option on the Palantir trade today. I
gotta switch computers. Let BR Baller go. I'll jump back on in like a few minutes.
Okay, brother. Bye-bye.
I just think the valuation for Tesla is bubbly. I think it's a bubble right now. And I hate to say that because it's a strong word, but I mean, I think I just don't know when. I mean, the robo taxis, I think that's why it's just going up now, because of next month, the robo taxis. I think that's like the excitement. But at some point, people would just I guess people just don't care about valuations right now, but I just think at some point they will.
I agree. I mean, I went through this book, and it was a painstaking process, and it was called The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. And all I kept seeing and reading over and over on the book was valuations matter. In the short term, the stock is a voting machine. In the long term, it's a weighing machine. But Tesla's also been trading publicly since probably 2010 or so. And it's probably been overvalued the whole time. So sometimes, you know, what do they say? The stock market can stay rational longer than you can stay solvent. So I'm not trying to fight with Mr. Market. I'm trying to make money off the market that we have at hand because I feel like that's my job, right? If you ain't trying to make money, like what are we even doing here?
Yeah, I agree. Like 6 hours ago, an article came out. Hedge funds are shorting stocks again to leverage a new record. So they're shorting it more than ever now.
Yeah. What say you, Option? Talk to me, my man. I mean, you know more about this game than we do from all the options perspectives.
Yeah, that's all I look at. I really don't pay attention to other things like that. I mean, because when I look at you, it's like when I look at the table, I'm just looking at, okay, how can I maneuver to make money, right? Because I mean, we know that a tweet can turn the market around, and you're affected by the tweet immediately.
Yes.
You know, so I mean, for me personally, I just manage my risk, man, and play what's in front of me. That's it. That's all I do. I don't look at anything else. I don't look at the news. I don't let nothing sway my judgment. I just look at what's on in front of me, and I manage my risk around that. If your credit is bad, I'm not loaning you no money. Simple as that. That's all I do. And it just makes it easier for me because, you know, initially when I first started, you know, you hear, you need to look at this, you need to do this, and it was just so much information to take in, and then it'll sway what I would do. I'll do this or I do that. Then I'm like, that it didn't work. So once I just focused on the trade table, you know, understood what my risk was, how much I wanted to be paid for my risk, and I kept it there, and I learned how to manage my trades. So I have my losses, because we all lose, but within my parameter that I want, and then I just keep it going like that because I trade for the whole year. You know, I just want to take in as much credits and have a more realized P&L at the end of the year than whatever. And the trades that I'm down on, I work around them. Unlike how, you know, like Dallas and TJ do, sometimes I'm going to close out a trade and take a loss because I feel like instead of me just throwing more money at that bad money, you're fighting somewhere else.
No, but I did that too. I took a loss on 135 short calls.
Mm-hmm. It's nothing wrong with that
because it was too big of a position to fight. Mm-hmm. So I looked at the financials and I was like, I could fight it and win this battle, but I mean cover the position indirectly because I'm not talking about having 50,000 shares. I'm talking about having 25,000 shares and 250 leaps. So totally covered to the upside. Mm-hmm. And then if I got it covered to the downside because things break down, well, I'm going to use the money that I've made from the short calls, roll those down, get more credit. So what? I can buy puts, and then it always turns into an iron condor at the end of the day, right? I just don't like to start there. There's other people that are way more conservative and probably smarter than me, and they're like, well, we're going to end up there, and might as well start there. I don't like to. But I mean, if you want the ultimate protection, you want the ultimate risk-defined strategy, I mean, that's probably going to be an iron condor, in my opinion. I don't know what Grok has to say. I'm sure it's got a different answer. But
yeah, I mean, you know, I stay away from the information, me personally. Yeah, because I'm a trader, right? I'm a trader. So, like you said, you have to know where you at. Like some people are investors.
You define who you are in the market.
Yep, I'm a trader.
So you guys both have stop losses, like for every trade you do?
Me? No, I do not.
No, I don't have a stop loss.
Okay, me neither. I was gonna say because like when I'm buying leaps, if I'm like really underwater, I'll just keep averaging down.
Okay. Well, you gotta look at the information at hand, though. You know, like you gotta look at the information at hand. Like if something broke down, like for me with SoFi, y'all got to remember the little account was all SoFi leaks. Remember that option?
Mhm.
I took a $10,000 loss on SoFi because I saw an opportunity to go bank that money with Riot and TSOL, and that's what happened. And SoFi did what I thought it was going to do. It kept going down and down, and now I'm like, now I could potentially buy those leaps again if I really felt like that was the fastest path to 100,000 on the account ending in 60, right? TJ the Will Deal account.
Yeah.
So I don't feel that way. That's why I haven't done it. Like, I think that the trades that I'm in, Riot and TSOL, disregard the 1,000 shares of Neo. I think that those are going to be my best bet right now.
So you're
Because
most bullish.
again, I mean, we talk about Tesla and being a car company and all that stuff. I definitely think that Tesla is more of a artificial intelligence robotics company than I think that SoFi is a tech company. Like, I think Tesla is way more of a bank, if that makes sense, with the technological component in Technisys and Galileo. But until they start producing a shitload of revenue on that side of things versus getting real creative with making money, but just being a real good bank, if you will, they're not going to get the multiple. I just don't think they're going to get the multiple. So it's one of those things. I'm happy that I've made a lot of money with SoFi. I think I'll continue to make a lot of money with SoFi, but Galileo's been a $1.5 billion letdown. That's what it's been. Like, calling a spade. I think that SoFi paid way too much money for what they're getting out of Galileo. Right now, 10 years from now, it could be the steal of the century for them, right? But right now, I think that it's hard to argue that they overpaid for that shit. So somebody has to be held accountable for that. Who is it? In my opinion, the share price.
So are you most bullish for SoFi in the future? Like that's your
I'm
number
sorry?
one? Is that your highest conviction stock, SoFi?
No, Tesla by a mile, by a
Okay.
country mile. I think Tesla has the goods to be a $5 trillion company.
Yeah, like Kathy Wood said,
No, Kathy's her valuation is way bigger than
30
that.
trillion.
No. I can legit get on my little whiteboard and show you how Tesla gets to 5 trillion by 2030. And that's on planet Earth. TJ lives on planet Earth. Kathy might be on planet Mars and stuff. I don't know. But, she's probably smarter at this game than I am. I feel like I know how to hold on to winners longer than she does. But
It's funny how she sold Tesla right after she sold like thousands of shares right after she said that.
yeah, but the way that her portfolio or her fund is set up, a lot of times they have to do things that don't make a lot of sense because there's this rebalancing that they got to do. And I don't know, bro. Again, this is ARKK specifically because I used to love that fund. It's in my I don't understand file now.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they make the trades they make. Because they can get in the best trades at really good times and they don't write it out. Or the minute that the trade isn't going in their favor, they're out of there. And then they buy high and they sell low. And then whenever they have a winner, they don't let it run. And I'm like, dude, I feel like you're just allergic to making money. But you got Tesla, right? So, okay, cool. That would be like me saying all of the people that have only made money with Palantir, how much credibility do they really have as investors? Or did they just find something and God bless them because they rode that stallion to the promised land? Because that's all it takes sometimes for some people.
Yeah.
But are they able to do that over and over and over again? Are they able to get base hit singles and doubles and triples with other companies? Or are they going to wait on the next home run like Palantir that might never happen? I don't know, bro. Because I feel like that's kind of what Kathy Woods is. It's how some people, and this is not me, by the way. I don't have my fellow Palantarians or Palantards in this, and like I don't have them in this box. But there's a lot of people that refer to people that have only made money in Palantir as somebody that just quote unquote got lucky. I don't think they got lucky. I think they earned a freaking win. Put some respect on their name. But you have a bunch of confidence, and I'm going to be like all of the people that made a shitload of money on Palantir. They're going to go make money on a bunch of other stocks. I'm not going to put my name out. I'm not going to endorse that.
Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of where Kathy Wood is in this situation. It's cool. She got Tesla right. That's great. Well, what about the 90 that she got wrong?
So
How does
yeah,
that work?
yeah, true.
I'm just, you're the home run hitter that strikes out every other time it played. Give me Ichiro Suzuki. That dude, why he gets on base? Like the money ball, he gets on base.
So do you guys agree with my take on why I think it's gonna hit $60 General Mills, or you're not as bullish as me?
I don't have anything to say because I'm just not familiar enough with the space. So I try not to opine when I just rather just tell you I don't know, and I hope the trade works out for you because I'm that weird guy. I want everybody to win.
Me too. Thank you. Me too.
I want everybody to win. I don't know. I'll look into it though, because you do present a compelling argument. But to Dallas's point, every girl that you're with is the best thing you've ever known, right?
I'm telling you. But like, as long like so far, like I think it's only because I only play one stock at a time. That's why I feel like I marry the position.
Why do you choose to only do one stock at a time?
Really good question, Dallas.
Yeah, that's a good question. Because I don't wanna be, since I'm buying leaps, I don't want to be too risky. So I rather just like if the leap starts going down and I'm underwater like I was on Novo, I'll just keep adding on it. So there's no way I could lose because I just keep averaging down.
You see, this
But
is
if I
me right here. I can't bet against Elon. I just think that he's too brilliant.
Yeah.
In the market level, right?
So BR Baller, you're all in one second option. You're all in on one stock, if you will, even though you have a lot of money on the sidelines, and you don't have a stop loss.
No stop loss.
I get it, but do you have a? Hey, I got it wrong, because you're real proud of your batting average, right? He's 4 for 4 in the market. Meaning he's done 4 trades and they've all worked out. So, you're like, I feel like you're the guy that's going to go take a picture kicking the bull in the ass, right? Because I know you've taken a picture with the bull, as have I. All the Wall Street orgs do it, right? We all done it.
Exactly.
Like type in me too in the chat. You're taking a picture with the stupid bull. But one day you're not going to get it right. So when are you going to be willing to put your pride to the side and say, hey, I'm willing to lose money here because there's a better opportunity over there? Or are you more consumed with being right because I'm going to give you the right rich speech? I'd rather be rich than right.
Yes, that's a good question. So the reason I don't want to lose is because I know eventually it'll go back my way. I just know it. So it's like,
but whenever you're buying options, it's the soft class, the hourglass, right? The time runs out. It's an eroding asset class.
Yeah.
So are you willing to roll the option to buy yourself more time to be right? Like how deep are you willing to dig this hole?
That's a good question. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't thought about it like that deep because I usually
need to think about it, bro, because you're playing a very dangerous game, and this isn't financial advice. This is a 50-year-old man trying to do you a solid.
Yeah, I just like if I have because I still usually I play the 2027. Like I still have 2 years. So like if I were to roll, I would still technically be losing because I'm just paying for more time. So like I don't. Yeah, I can lose by theta decay. I could, yeah, but then it makes it easier to average down. Then I'm just buying it and I'm lowering my cost more. That's why it's important to have like 90% cash with my strategy because there's no way you could lose. There's no chance.
Let's tackle this question right here. TJ, where do you see a nice cover call strike price for Uber and CleanSpark at the moment? I like the 11s and 12s on CleanSpark. No more than 30 days out. You got to keep in mind with these miners, they let you know how many Bitcoin they're producing, right? And CleanSpark, I believe they have a daily counter. I know that Marathon does. Riot doesn't let you know how they do day to day. Jason Leslie said he just doesn't want that metric there because they have a bad day. They don't want to be answering questions. They'd rather just deal with that on the monthly report. CleanSpark, I believe, gives it to you daily. And I know that there's a Maripool, so Marathon gives it to you daily. So I'm comfortable in that 11, preferably even more conservative, the $12 range on CleatSpark, I stopped following Uber in 2021 when I sold my shares. So I couldn't tell you the last thing about Uber. Sometimes I think that Tesla is going to put them out of business. Other times I think that robo-taxi is not even going to be as huge an income stream as people think. Go ahead, Dallas.
No, take it, please.
I was just so. What's the like the goal with the General Mills trade? Like to get out on a 10% move, or like to ride it to expiration?
No, so I'm just gonna do it when it goes back to the historical price to earnings ratio. The historical is 16 right now. It's at 12, so I still have a bunch of upside on it.
And what price would that be?
So if I did the math correctly, it would be around like 62, 63 bucks. So and the estimated return on that would be 27K, which would be my biggest trade if it works my way.
But by what time does that have to happen?
2027.
If it hits what price?
What he bought? What strike price you bought again?
The 50. So I'm deep in the money. I'm very safe.
Let me pull it up. Let me pull up the trade.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You said you would calculate it to be 67?
63.
63?
Fundamentally, yeah, I think it's going to be 63. Actually, I know it's going to be 63. I know it's going to be 63.
So if that happens by 2027, you only make 42%.
Well, I think it's going to happen like very soon. I just bought the 2027 because it has the most time, but I think it's going to happen soon.
And what's it called? GIS?
GIS. It's the best stock in the world.
I feel like you're trolling at some point.
You know, there's a company called NVIDIA out there.
I'll send a screenshot that it's my only position. I posted on my Twitter. It's my only position.
Dude, I don't doubt that it is. I'm doubting why it should be. So what you bought the call. So what strike did you have?
50.
50. So this guy right here. So you have $940, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And how many do you have?
I have 36. I added.
So now how I would do it, if you
let's just look at it. So essentially, you got to pay 32. So the trades were the 32 grand right now. Is that accurate? 33 grand.
33. Yes. Right.
Okay. Now. So what graphs can I look at here, Option? What can we do for visuals while you and Dallas talk us through how I don't think this stock's going to retire?
How would you do it, Dallas? Because I got the way that I would do it, but I'm gonna let Dallas go ahead. Or
I need to look at the curve. Is that it right here?
No. Okay. Well, personally, this is how I do it. Okay, so he's saying he needed to go up to like 60. Go back to the trade table. This is the easiest way how I look at it, just from a theoretic perspective. So I know that he's saying he wanted a 10-point move. So let's say it was marking right now. It's marking at
54.
Let's say it was marking at 50. So if I want a 10-point move to 60, that means that those calls will be marking at $16. So you can now just subtract that from the $16 from the 9, and then that will be your profit if you got that move.
But that's all things being equal.
Yeah, that's all things being equal. So you know. So
can we just put this on options profit calculator, and it would tell you if this happens, that happens. If this happens, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, you can see it right here.
Okay.
Because if you look at the 50, if it goes up, that means that the 40 is going to be marking at the 50.
Gotcha.
So, if you look at where the 40 is going for $16, which actually going, he had to sell it back so he can get $15, right? That's a 10-point move up to 60. So from there, those 40s, the 50s will now be marking at 16. So if he paid $9, you could just theoretically get the difference from that. That's if he had to move today. Now that's going to change every day, though.
How would you interpret this trade, Dallas?
My question is, like, a month ago he was on Novo like it was the best thing ever,
and before that it was American Eagle,
and then Comcast.
But listen, to Novo, if you were on that and then it fell about 15%. Yeah, I think you panicked a bit, because if you would have stuck in that trade, only in the past month, Novo is up 25%. So your leaps will be printing. And in that same time period, General Mills is down 30%.
Yeah.
So if you would have just stuck it with Novo, you would have already had your profit.
Yeah, true. But the reason I got out of Novo was so I got out for basically break even, $600 profit. And then I got into General Mills because I thought it was a better opportunity. I would have held on to Novo, but I thought Mills was way better.
TJ, pull up their platform again. And this is like, I actually kind of, I mean, I agree with him doing it at this point. You know what I mean? And y'all know I don't buy calls, right? But I can, you know, just from the perspective of the cost of it, if you right click on that 940 call.
1 second, brother. So we're going over here, right?
Yeah. And right click on it. Clear that out. Go ahead and delete that. Right click and then hit the view. Because these are, all right. Yours don't be pulling it up, bro. Go to turns your days to day.
Where, I'm sorry?
Damn, TJ, what in the world you got going on?
I don't know, bro. This is how Tasty be doing me dirty.
Yeah. See, yours don't come up like mine's.
Tom don't like me, bro.
Hit that middle. Hit that
Talked
middle.
about him before I was on the platform. Do I got the right layout? How about chart? Is that it?
Okay. But see, mine's when it comes up and I see that, and this is why I you know, I don't mind the risk because I see what he's saying, because the price of General Mills, when I'm looking at it now, that was selling for $8-9 now. That's where it's at now. But you know, if you look at just April, it was going for $13. So, you know, how I'm like, okay, well, you know, that's a nice, decent spread in regards to how much he paying now. Oh, there you go. Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah, but this is giving me some real shitty. Dude, these charts are whack, bro.
Yeah, because you know, don't nobody use them joints, man.
There we go.
Oh, that's something better.
Great.
Look at the price of where it's at, and if you look at
daily, though, let me do monthly. That's just all it's done is gone down.
Yeah, but go back to the daily.
That's 20 years.
Yeah, go to the
bro.
daily.
Hold on, this is whack, dude. Let me just go here.
Okay. But it's not going to show that where you're going to look at. It's not going to show what I was looking at because we're just talking about the option prices. Because that's all I look at, right? I just look at the pricing of it, and from what you know, Baller is doing, and what I see is that the price of how much market makers are pricing in is cheap now. So it's a cheap buy. So if you feel like, okay, it's a cheap buy now, in just April, it was up to that same strike was going for $13 and it's down from there. Like, okay, that could be, you know, a good $2-3 turnaround. So that's how I look at it. If you buying cheap, I'm cool with it. But if you buying it and it's expensive, that's where I feel the problem come in. So
yeah, and I made more money by doing that because since I'm already up $3,000, it's covering the Novo. So it's a better trade in my opinion right now.
Okay.
So what happens if we don't strike a deal with China and we go back to the April lows? What's your move? Since that's your whole account.
No, it's only 10% of my account.
It's 10%. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just keep averaging down. That way you never lose.
Scroll up.
Swear to God, I haven't lost yet.
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, it's only 4 trades, bro.
But my goal is to destroy Wall Street and be like undefeated, like you know the king.
Baller, you can do it. You can do it. I know that's great what you're saying, but sometimes you can sell, man. You got to sell something against those, man.
I feel like you're rage baiting. Like you're saying crazy things to get people to comment.
No, I swear, I genuinely believe in the position. I swear to God.
Yeah, I think Baller okay, man.
The reason I don't sell calls against it is because it's like you're collecting pennies to risk all your upside. That's why I don't collect premium. If you should only collect premium when you have like millions of dollars, like TJ. You know, when you have infinite money, then it works for you. But unless you don't, it's not worth it.
Okay.
So Baller, what I would like to tell you is it's okay to get rich slowly. because more than likely that's how it's going to happen.
Anyway,
It has taken me 50 years, about 47 years, to become an overnight success. So I went behind the years like you. My son was a year old, he's 26, and I was sitting in real estate class because I was going to be $1 million listing guy before the show had existed. And I was in class, and this guy that was a lot more seasoned than I was said, I hate to burst your bubble, but the elevator to success is out of order. You're going to have to take the stairs just like all of us. And I'm not saying that you're not going to be undefeated. I hope you are. I hope that you're the one person that is going to be undefeated on Wall Street. And I'm going to be like, dude, that guy was on my channel. Like, I'll be that guy. I'll be your groupie. But what I'm saying is it's very unlikely that that's the way that it's going to play out for you, because it's this beautiful thing that we're all living called life. So there's a saying, if you want to make God laugh, make plans.
Yeah.
how old is Baller?
I'm 20. I just turned 20, and I'm hoping to retire.
man.
I
mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, man, and I'm gonna have to just kind of disagree slightly with the comment with TJ, because, man, 20, take all the risks you want to take, bro. You figure that out when you get 30 or 40. Do it.
Yeah, and I just
Take it. Go for it. Because at this point, with your age, you awarded that. Take all the risks. If then you bounce back. You'll figure it out. So like go for it, man.
The reason I want to retire early is I hate this game. It's so rigged. It's all for the big boys.
Well, I mean,
The year that the Detroit Lions went 0-16, they were 4-0 in the preseason.
Mm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you're first. I'm just saying, I'm young too. I just turned 30. I just turned 30.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna hit 7 figures in probably next 3 or 4 months. So
Congrats.
you don't have to. And you're doing it faster than me. But
No, I'm not. I don't think I'm not special. It's like we're all in this. It's a game of luck too. I think it's like a lot of luck involved in this game too, to be honest.
Man,
I don't know. Do you think that Elon's lucky?
Yes. Even Mark Cuban said to be a billionaire is mostly luck. He literally said it.
So you don't think like preparing himself and taking the biggest gamble on Tesla, getting on his hands and knees, practically offering to do things to Bill Gates that he wouldn't publicly admit to, and getting them to try to invest in his company, practically begging Warren Buffett to invest in his company before it went bankrupt. You don't think all of those, do you think that that's luck, or is that somebody who's willing to swallow their pride because they have a vision and they're willing to do anything to manifest that vision and make it come to fruition?
I think life is 50% luck, 50% hard work. You can't do anything without God's luck.
Well, I think that there's good fortune, but there's also like where luck meets preparation, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's not lucky. He's an extremely lucky guy, because to convince that many people to sleep with you and have all those kids, because he's not a good looking dude. Right? So there's some fortuitous lucky star that is on his head, right?
Yeah, bro, I swear. I mean, like,
hey, the comedy's extra, guys. The comedy is extra.
The comedy's.
Bro, I love this group. I love this group right here. This is my favorite.
I mean, I'm just saying the comedy is extra, okay?
Yeah.
Hey TJ,
What's up, brother?
I just had 350 calls, Tesla expiring today, so they were hanging on like 349 until like a minute or two ago, and now it's down. So those are going to expire worthless. What do you think about 400 strike price for about 32 days out?
I think that you're absolutely golden, bro.
Yeah, I'm thinking about putting that on.
I think you're golden because I think 427. I've been chart nerding, bro. Like I've had Uzi on, and then I go and I watch the sessions, and I did a lot of, like, I was obsessed with this freaking mill astrology for like a couple of years. And I'm telling you, dude, with confidence that it's going to be real hard for Tesla to get over 427. And if that happens, though, she's going to see all-time highs of 513. Like it's going to go to about 513, 515, and it'll peter out there. And that can all happen by the end of this calendar year, bro. This chart on Tesla is like nothing I've ever seen before, aside from calendar year.
Are the premiums juiced up just because of that event or what?
Dude, I think it's everything. I mean, Elon Musk and Donald Trump are in an amazing bromance right now. What happens when one of them cheats on each other? I mean, I just feel like all the risk is to the downside right now. I mean, what are this robo taxi event, which is not going to be postponed, by the way. But let's just say that it was postponed even by like a week or two. What happens to the stock?
That joint. So let me ask you this, Dallas. You was in the same the 0 day, the 0 DT.
No. I put those on like a month ago. Wrote it up, wrote it down. I held on to it. So now I gotta decide.
No, I'm saying you held it to the 0 DT.
Yeah, because I got greedy because I was up like 75. I was up like 75% on them, and it was only at like 300. I'm like, I'm good. I don't want to put any new calls on. I'm gonna just collect, let these go to like 90%. And then I can't remember what happened, but it started going up a lot, and then so I actually was down on them a little bit. And then I just held on. I said, well, if it get, I'll roll when it gets to, expiration. And
you got the shares though, right?
Yeah, I got the shares.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, okay.
Bro, since Holy Smokas sold Jeremy from the Twitter, it went up 100 points. Tesla.
Yeah, it was like Jeremy.
I think Jeremy's pretty rich. He'll be okay, bro. I don't feel sorry.
Yeah, I think he'll make it off his last few $1 million.
I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, he'll be fine. But it was just even if you have a thesis, I was actually thinking about this recently. Even if that was his thesis, he should have just put like a trailing stop on his shares and just said
Tesla just went bearish.
All that could have been his thesis. All he had to do is say, okay, I'm not willing to ride these shares down more than like 10%, and then I'm gonna sell, because literally pretty much when he sold, it's been up only. So he should have just put a trailing stop loss on his shares.
I swear.
And then you can keep the same thesis, but ride the shares up until the trend breaks.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know why Tesla just crashed at the close. I don't know what just happened.
Telling you, dude, at 346.
Man, I didn't get those filled.
Like 350 is pivotal, but it went back there, and it right at 345. If it doesn't hold that, bro,
It's
295. 295 was the pendulum, right?
Yeah.
And it's gonna see 295, and I'm gonna make Uzi buy me a pizza in New York because he said that he thought 400 would happen before 300.
No
and I had studied the chart for like 5 hours that day, like looking at every little astrological sign that I could find. And I'm telling you, this bad boy is gonna go see 295, and I'm like super happy.
And also Tampon Tim called the bottom at 225. Tim Wall.
Damn.
Yeah, that's crazy. Dude, I'm super excited. The Tesla, the short calls printed $305,000 today.
Yo.
Got my ass kicked on the shares to the tune of 238. Got my ass kicked on the puts to the tune of 113. Got my ass kicked on the long calls at 83. So when I'm down 20% on the long calls, that's when I'm going to add another 100.
Yeah.
On the leaps, because then I'm a lot closer to being fully covered to the upside. I can manage the short puts. They're not. I mean, it's a 300 strike, 231 days out. So there's no early assignment there. Still sitting on 4.5 on buying power. So everything's pretty decent. And there's $2 million coming into the account. So I want Tesla. I want to be on the record. I want Tesla to go sub 200 so that there could be 50,000 shares of Tesla in the portfolio. And I want to ride those up for like $500 and trim a lot of it. And I want to see a 5 in front or a 4 in front of the account.
TJ, do you only do stocks or you have real estate?
No, dude. The only real estate that I have is what I'm in right now. Just a $500,000 home in the Rio Grande.
Okay, so you don't like real estate to invest?
So I'll tell you what happened with real estate. Dude. This is extra. Now we're talking about therapy. So, so what happened with real estate is I was married in a previous life, and the wife and I had our home. We had a rental home, and then we were building a dream home. And at the time, the dream home was like 700 grand. The relationship didn't work out. So she bailed on the closing. So I took on the closing, and it was just like I almost had to file for bankruptcy. I almost had to do the foreclosure on that home. Luckily, I ran into a military guy that was moving to San Antonio, and I was able to offload the house that I couldn't afford anymore on him. And then we had invested with this group, and we had rental properties, and everything was going well until it wasn't. Hey, and then I realized right away when I was trying to play landlord that shit breaks on houses all the time. And then I was like, oh, cool, we'll get a management company, 10%. And then I also realized that people don't pay their rent on time all the time. And then I also realized when leases expire and people move out, it's not like one day to the next, you got another tenant in there because now you got to go and clean the house. You got to go do all the damage that was done to your house. You got to go repair all that stuff. And then I was only cash flowing an average of $250 a month per property. And the minute the air conditioning unit went out, the minute that there was mold issue, a foundation issue, whatever the case may be, there was always something. I realized that me and real estate just aren't meant to be because I don't have enough of a passion for the industry. A and B, it's so hard to find a customer, dude. Like it was so hard to find a customer. Like you put the house on the market and it could take 6 months, a year to sell, depending on the market. All the while it's vacant and it's not bringing in any money whatsoever. And I was just like, dude, there's got to be an easier way to make money, dude. There just has to be an easier way to make money. So I fell in love with the stock market.
Yeah, me too.
I was just like, what are the 2 ways that people make money? Like, like have created more wealth. And I landed on real estate and I landed on the stock market. And then in 2019, when I was able to get a hold of some decent money via the 401k and that kind of thing, I realized that I didn't want to go back into real estate. I considered it. I did online real estate school. And there was a fork in the road. And then I had my best friend, Chris, a real good buddy of mine, Roland. They've both been on the channel here before. And I just saw that they were doing well with real estate, but they were always like, this closing fell through, this, that, there's an issue with title. There's like, I just started bringing back all these memories because it's like you need so many things to go right with these freaking transactions. And I was just like, dude, I go own stock. It's up to me whether or not I put a renter in there, so to speak, via a covered call. Whenever you own a piece of real estate, you're at the mercy of the market. Sometimes there's a lot of inventory and it's hard to rent your house because they have the pick of the litter, right? It's a buyer's market, a renter's market. Whenever there isn't a lot of inventory and somebody needs a place to live, you can raise the prices and everything's very sanguine, everything's very optimistic, peachy and creamy. But that's still not going to negate the fact that these houses get old. And this is one thing that I don't understand about real estate. Is houses get older, they're more likely to require more maintenance, but yet they become more expensive. It is so ass backwards, bro. MicroStrategy makes more sense to me than that. And that's not saying a lot because I feel like MicroStrategy is a Ponzi scheme. And I know that it isn't. I feel like it is because I don't know about it, right? So it's my too hard pile. Well, real estate is MicroStrategy to me. If you want to do an analogy, like the SAT score.
I agree. I think real estate's a scam. I think you should just rent. There's no point of buying.
Well, that's the Grant Cardone theory, right? But what I'm saying is people got rich in real estate. Not one of them, and that's okay. People got rich with Palantir, made $500,000, but not rich, right? It wasn't life-changing money, but it's a good time for a couple of years. And now I'm here trying to make another couple $100,000. People are like, oh, you're in the get back trade. I'm like, no, I just think it's a good little pocket where I can make money. And what's wrong? Why are you criticizing my 200 grand a month? And show me yours.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, I showed y'all my trade. It's there. Go show me yours. And not, you can't call, shut the fuck up. Like, I don't like it no more. People are going to come talk shit on the channel. Show me results. If not, I'm not interested in what you got to say. I'm just be that guy now because these trolls piss me off.
Bro, that's why I respect
blood pressure, bro. Like I'm having to take like Cinepro because of you trolls, man.
Bro, facts. That's why I respect you the most, TJ, because you're the most transparent. Like you show everything.
It's because I'm good at what I do, bro. I'm willing to put it on the line. Go show me all these other people with their freaking books and tapes and discords and shit. Get your ass on the channel and trade live, and then you get my respect 100%.
I swear, real rich people never show it.
All you're doing is you're copying and pasting a bunch of shit that you ask Grok and ChatGPT to do for you, and you put it on a thread, and you sound real fucking smart on Twitter. How's that for a fucking rant?
I never even thought about that. Like, that's how a lot of people
none of those fuckers are that smart. They're using ChatGPT and they put these fancy ass threads out there on Twitter, and they sound real smart. It all sounds great. It sounds as great as BR Baller legitimately believing in his heart that he's going to retire undefeated. It's fucking comical, right, to us. But he believes it. And it's like, I'm going to cheer it on. I'm not cheering against him.
Yeah.
But I also don't really think it's going to happen for him that way. He's going to meet that trade that's going to humble him more than likely. And I just hope that he's willing to walk away from the trade because Dallas is a spiritual Christian man, and I want him to finish this proverb for me. The pride goeth
for the fall.
Exactly.
Although BR Baller on his X, he does say if General Mills goes to 60, he's going to retire. So he could retire undefeated. 5 for 5, I guess, if he's going to retire.
But I guess I don't understand. I don't understand the math.
But let me ask you this: do you think that BR Baller will be able to just retire and leave the game alone, or will he come back in the game and want to do it again? Because at that point, he could take that loss.
I'm a very greedy person. I want the world. I want the world in my hand. Like I want to buy the earth.
He's like the best guest ever, bro.
He's like that Kanye. He's like Kanye West. He's like, how much does the earth cost?
Exactly. I watch that interview every day. But look, check me out. I think after $5 million, I'm gonna retire and close all the accounts.
So with 30,000 in General Mills, you're gonna make $5 million?
No, of course not. There's no chance I'm gonna retire off this trade. You know, sometimes I just like to speak out of my mind. But like I wish, bro. I wish I could retire now. I hate this game. It's so evil. Nobody cares about anybody in this game. It's just
you know who you remind me of, BR Baller?
Who?
Those pretend atheists that say they don't believe in God just for the shock value of the statement.
Yo.
When push comes to shove, we're all calling on God. I've never heard anybody say, Satan, save me. I have not heard that in 50 years yet. Oh, please, devil, help me get out of this fresh bullshit. When the chickens come home to roost, you're going to be crying out for God.
I think in order
The comedy's extra, guys. You better tip the jar.
I think in order to be a trillionaire, you have to be delusional. To be really rich, you have to be delusional. You have to be ridiculous out of your mind, I think.
Bro, to invest in SoFi and Riot is heavy like this. You gotta be delusional. What are you talking?
So once you get to that amount, then you're gonna start selling options. That's what you're saying?
No, then bro, after 5 million, you earn 5% interest. You're set for life. You make 250. Put it in a savings.
Bro, that is good. You're gonna be bored out of your mind, Option. I want you to remember this conversation, bro. You are not gonna go put it in treasury bonds and collect 5%. Stop lying to yourself because you say it and never gonna believe it, and that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, bro, if I was TJ, I would have already.
Bro, even if they offered me 15% a year, I wouldn't do it.
No, hell no. Hell no.
I think, bro, like if I was TJ, I would be chilling in Dubai, freaking done, closing all the accounts, earning interest, done. No, you don't have to pay tax there. You're done. You're set for life.
Baller, you're not married, right?
No, I'm looking to get married soon though. Like maybe I want to get married like 22, have kids.
Are you dating her yet?
No, I wish.
Well, then don't make those plans. You're being ridiculous right now. You're trying to plan out her life. She's been planning out her wedding since she was 2 years old. Baller, stop it, bro. Stop.
Yeah.
TJ, it's hard to. American girls are hard. TJ, they're hard.
That's not hard, bro. You just got to find yourself a godly woman. The easiest way to do that is become a godly man.
I think I'm a godly man.
Do you live in America?
I mean, is that one good or not? God, I'm on fire tonight.
I live in. Huh?
Do you live in America?
I live in Miami, Florida. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like after COVID, everybody like they ruined the city because everybody came here. Now that we have traffic problems, it's dirty. There's more homeless. COVID ruined the whole world. It was such a scam. COVID was a scam.
I feel like what was that guy that came on that told you that you need to get on the short bus, TJ?
AK Wheelie, bro. I put on my helmet the other night.
I think this is secretly AK's son or something like that. And he's
his brother. Maybe his brother.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Maybe I'm wrong or getting the wrong percentage. I don't think he's a troller though. I mean, I don't feel that.
You'll have to move out of Miami if you want to retire at 20 years old.
Yeah, I want to go to Dubai, bro. There's no tax there. I just got back. It's the best place on earth. It's heaven.
Let's talk about this comment here real quick, guys, because my wife's gonna come home and she can be like, "You've been on that damn thing all day. We just had this talk."
Hey, look, I got to go, man. I gotta go.
I'm singing the 5 minute swan song right here. Option, my man, I appreciate you. I hope that you can appreciate how open-minded I was on the Palantir trade because I didn't even want to hear what you had to say.
I know it, man.
But it was the right thing to do, though.
Yeah.
And I went from what? Well, I didn't do anything actually. I just left the trade the same. I went after the premium.
The big accounts you left the same.
Yeah, but on the little one, I got more responsibility.
Yeah.
Yo, Option, let's keep in touch.
Definitely, man. I'm always on, I'm always come on with TJ, man. That's my main man right there.
I really like Option.
I
don't know why. I just really like him.
Hey, it's all good, bro. We just come on here together. All of us come on, man, and just share what we know, right? That's it. That's all I do. I don't know anything.
That's a fact. I don't know what I'm doing. All the experts are in the chat.
I just, I just trade, right?
I swear.
Dude, Baller. I want to follow you on X, but you post the same post like 10 times per day.
No, the problem is I'm gonna leave the communities. I'm in 4 communities. I'm gonna just stop. I'm gonna post on 1 from now on because that's why I keep reposting it. That's why I'm gonna stop. What's your Twitter? I'll follow you. What's your Twitter?
It's no BS options.
No BS.
Hey, but one thing you can't do, you got to take off options.
Yeah. It's. You got practice, man. Practice.
I just followed you. Dallas, I just followed you.
All right, cool.
I promise. I swear I'm not.
Appreciate the option. The next time, bro.
All right, y'all
Enjoy your weekend, bro. Enjoy your weekend.
All right.
May is over. Now we're in June, halfway through the year. It went so fast.
June's halfway.
Oh yeah, true. Bro, every year goes faster, TJ. What's happening?
But anyway, yeah, I was gonna say something.
Oh,
I'm thinking about.
Oh no, when you post on X,
yeah.
you know where it says for everyone,
Yes.
but you can actually post on like multiple groups at the same time.
Wait,
It's
how?
like 10 shirtless photos, man. I can't do it.
No, I know. Because I was posting on the other.
You heard him, Dallas. He's single, bro. Wants to get married. I mean,
No, not on this.
he's pimping himself out, doing pull-ups. I saw you doing a pull-up video.
No. I swear I'm not like that. I just had too much free time, so I'm just like losing my mind a little. But what was I about to say? Wait, how do you do it, TJ? How can I post on everything so I don't have to like?
So you click on like, because I have Premium Junkies, right? The page that I created.
Yeah.
Then I'm on one SoFi group and then something else. So if I want to post on all the Mafia, I'm on, I think it's called Bitcoin Mafia.
Yeah.
So I can just click those three and then it'll put out the post for me on all of them at the same time.
Okay. No, for me, I just see everyone and then the community. So I'll just put everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, I just talked about that, Bill. I just talked about it. I said he earned that. He earned that win. Dallas is in that trade with you.
Dude, yeah, my elf is up like 250%.
Well, didn't they have a deal with Justin Bieber's wife or something? My wife was telling me the other day.
$1 billion.
Yeah, they just acquired her company. But dude, I got so many leaps in elf. It's like that might be my biggest position in my entire portfolio.
Wow.
Wait, Dallas,
are you still doing the altcoin thing, or did you already give up on that whole deal?
No, I still got that too.
Gotcha.
Dallas, what you trade full time?
No. I could I won't say I could, like based on like the episodes we've done on Wheelers in the past, like I could trade theoretically if bringing in 2% a month or stuff like that. But that's like in a perfect world, and like I would feel more comfortable. Like what am I gonna go do at 30 years old anyway? I'd rather keep working and then build my account up to like $5 to $10 million over the next 5-10 years.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to worry about it at like 40 years old. Then I'm good. But even if you have like $1 million, right? Like 2% a month. All right, yeah, that's 20 grand a month, but it doesn't always, that 2% number, it's not always that smooth.
Yeah, agreed.
I've gotten caught up, in trades that like I still got Palantir like $30 calls that I'm still rolling, so stuff like that will hurt your percent numbers. So
No, of course.
I think you I'm kind of with you in most cases. Like if you feel like you have a real winner, I wouldn't sell calls on it until you're up like at least 25 to 50%.
I agree.
And then even when I do start selling calls, let's say I have 10 leaps and I'm like, all right, my leaps are up 25%. I'm going to start selling calls. Let's say I have 10 of them. You're never going to be right perfectly on the first try. So I'll sell calls against like 3 leaps.
Yeah.
And then if I'm wrong, I'll let it go up another 20%, then sell another 3. And then I'll leave myself another 3 for the end. And then that way you can use, most likely the stock's gonna like get exhausted at some point. So if you're really wrong, you can use some of those short calls that you did the second and third round with to help roll your way out of the ones that went wrong the first round. So I'm in agreement. If you do not need, like, if you're not living off of premium, like to pay your bills, I would only sell calls like the most optimal moments when it's very, very oversold.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I was gonna ask TJ, what do you do all day then? Because you have like all the free time.
Have you seen that there's private accounts on there?
Oh yeah, true, but you don't manage until like 20 days, right? Until the expiration.
Yeah, but they don't all have the exact same expiration dates and stuff because that's just not how life is. And then, so what do I do all day? So
Travel.
I watch about an hour and a half of YouTube per day on people charting Tesla, people charting Nvidia. I watch 10 to 15 minutes of a Mitts channel on a daily basis on typically on the morning open and the morning close just to get a real quick rundown of what's going on in the market. I watch probably an hour of CNBC a day. I watch the Fox Business Channel,
Mhm.
probably about 30 minutes to an hour a day.
Uh-huh.
And then I brainstorm with my wife. I don't tout my wife on here because, for obvious reasons, she's my wife.
Yeah.
She's an economics major from Stanford,
Uh-huh. Wow.
and I bounce a lot of ideas off of her. She started the Tesla research. I've been in Tesla since 2019, but then she did extensive research a couple of years ago. I got into a really big trade on end phase after she told me 1,000 times, we don't need end phase, we have Tesla.
Uh-huh.
So I've been eating that crow ever since, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That humble pie. And she, she just mapped it all out and I followed her lead. And we just concluded that Tesla could legit get to $5 trillion by 2030. Very realistically, like nothing, no pie in the sky, none of that stuff. And so we wanted to eventually align the portfolio with those convictions, with that belief, if that made sense.
Yeah.
But it was like, how are we going to get there? How are we going to finance it? So I was like, the Bitcoin miners, I can make all the money with the Bitcoin miners. And the Bitcoin miners have financed this trade. The over $1 million that we've realized already with SoFi are financing this trade. The $500,000 on Robinhood and Palantir are financing this trade. So essentially, I rolled all the winners in to Tesla. And then once I'm done with Tesla, what does that look like? 25,000 shares, covered strangle, no short strangle.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do the exact same thing on the second highest conviction play that we have as a family, and that is Amazon. And that is why you see the 200 short strangles on Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon's a
Because
beast.
eventually that is going to be a covered strangle with 20,000 shares, but I might have to get it to 500 contracts to help me finance the 20,000 shares. I don't want to give y'all too much because this is more, this is now giving y'all the playbook, right? Read the book.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, you're like, so this is a playbook that her and I composed. And it just so happens to be a playbook that my buddy with 100 million, that's what he did, is he took everything and he built out a position. And once he had the amount of shares that were already bought and paid for, adjusted cost basis to zero on paper, he moved on to another stock and he has 4 stocks in his portfolio. And all he does is run covered strangles on him sleeping like this.
Yeah.
Because there's no risk to the upside, and he's willing to own those shares and not sell covered calls on them, not look at it, not do anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he's comfortable.
Yeah.
But it's also for the Mag 7s, right? Yeah. So it's like, it's not real hard to do everything.
Exactly. Amazon's a beast. It's gonna be here.
Yeah. So he's Amazon, Nvidia, Google, Tesla. But he started with Tesla, and then he finished out all the other positions, and then he's actually in the same Tesla trade as me. So I have somebody really nice that I could kind of like mirror and bounce the idea off. We're not playing the trade the exact same because again, it's risk tolerance, it's temperament, it's all those things.
Yeah.
You can't borrow conviction. You can't make anybody push buttons, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm playing the trade the way that I wanted to play it. I saw opportunity to increase the position on Amazon via the short strangle, and I was able to free up those 10,000 shares, but I still kept about an 83 delta there. So I was like, it's kind of like I own the shares anyway, right? And because I have all the risk to the downside that I would if I owned the shares. And the only issue now is I have the unlimited risk to the upside, but there's enough capital there to go scoop up barely, but there's enough capital there to scoop up the 20,000 shares of Amazon if I saw something where Amazon was going to run.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get in that situation. So I would just make whole of the trade, let the shares get called away, get back into cash, live to fight another day, right?
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing about short strangles. When you have the cash, and you have the cash and the conviction and the willingness to turn it into a covered strangle, what a limited risk to the upside are we talking about?
Yeah.
The unlimited risk only exists if you don't have the money to turn it into a covered strangle.
Exactly.
Yes, that's true.
I was gonna ask, what do you guys think about Pepsi as a recovery play?
Ah, shit, yeah.
It's too. It's not volatile enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no premium on the volatility. So I think because you buy options, baller, that you're probably enamored with low IV stocks.
Yeah.
So you're 90% cash right now.
Yeah, swear to God.
So that's because you're just giving yourself safety to buy the dip. Is that what?
Exactly. Just because options are riskier, because they expire. So I just want to have enough cash to just average down so I can manufacture the win.
It's like, were you in real estate before that? How? It sounds like you're new to stocks. How'd you get your first like big win to be able to? That's like really impressive at 19.
Thank you. I'm 20 now, but like you mean how did I start? Or
Yeah, like your accounts
Bankroll,
are.
where'd you get the bankroll? Is it mom and dad, or did you have a job, or
so
how
I'm
do
gonna be I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna lie because a lot of people my age lie about the money. I got all my money from my dad. I told him like I want to work from home and like I want to try out the stock market. And I'm just like, please give me as much as you can because like I wanted a lot. I don't know why, because when I was younger, so I was like, I want a lot of money to work with. And then he gave me the money. He's like, this is the most. If you lose it, I'm not giving you any more. So I'm like, I have all the money in the account, but I'm only playing with 10%. Because if I lose it, that's it. I'm broke. So then my first thing I was doing was credit spreads. I was doing credit spreads, and then I lost $60,000 in one day. So then I quit doing the credit spreads, and then I was selling premium, and then once I recovered it, I started doing naked calls this year.
So you're doing something brand new, and your dad's like, here's $300K to try it out.
Yeah. So he didn't give it to me all at once, but in total, he gave me around like 360K.
That's really nice of him.
Yeah, but remember, like he's not gonna give me any more. So if I lose it, I'm screwed. Like I have nothing else.
You'll just have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless like the inheritance,
You're not screwed.
Hey, real quick, guys. Kimball Musk just reported 2.2 million shares that he sold, or dollars. I'm not sure which is which. And this dude has a knack for timing the short-term tops.
That's his brother, right?
Yeah. So he sold 2.2 million. Again, I don't know if these are shares or this is what Alpha Spread e-build. And then and Efren Freeze, I don't know how to say it, Ira Matthew sold 7.9 million. Again, I don't know if this is money or shares.
Maybe that's why the stock was starting to drop.
Yeah. So I'm trying to pull it up here on Alpha Spread.
Oh, Alpha Spread.
It's US dollars. So let's see here.
I wasn't trying to call you baller. Someone had put that in the chat. They were wondering how you got started.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. I was gonna actually answer that question. It's like,
It's
I just
legit.
felt
It's a legit question.
yeah, 100%. Like I just love this game. I just hate how evil it is. I think that's the problem. It's such an evil game
So what makes it so evil for you in your
because
mind?
it's manipulated. It's all controlled. It's rigged because it's people getting inside information first. For example, like Pelosi, or how Trump was manipulating the market for his insiders. His insiders made billions off the tariff manipulation. So we're just getting the dirty end of the stick. We're meant to lose.
So I think it's like that old adage, right? Hate the player, not the game. I
Yeah.
think it's a very dangerous mindset to hate the industry that you're in. Wouldn't it make more sense to understand the industry that you're in and then just position yourself to profit and capitalize and call life good? That way you don't go through life with a chip on your shoulder.
No, I agree. I think the first thing before starting this game is understanding it's rigged and it's unfair, it's manipulated, and then just learn how to try to manufacture the win. Because retail could still win, but we're just meant to lose.
Yeah. So right now you have 10% of your portfolio at risk. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and then if it drops, if it
So
keeps
let me challenge you for a little bit. So you have 300 grand.
and I have two accounts.
270 on the sidelines, right? And you're enamored with Elf or with GIS, right? So, and how much are you up on the trade right now?
$3,000 only.
Okay, 3 grand. So, do you think that it's legit going up? Obviously, you bought the calls, right?
I would put my life it's going to go up, sort of.
Okay, cool. So then, but you're only putting 30 grand. So you're talking out of both sides of your mouth, right? Because I'm the guy that'll call you on your bullshit because you see my trades, right? So I'm gonna challenge you a little bit, right?
Yeah.
In order for your trade to make money, you need ELF to go up, yes or no?
Yeah, milk, yeah.
And it's currently trading right at what price? At
54.30.
54.30.
General Mills, TJ, not Elf.
Yeah. No, I got a GIS, right? So this is what I'm showing. This is what I'm looking at right here.
Yeah.
So again, this is just me telling you it's okay to make money slowly, right?
Yeah.
But if you really believed in this trade, and like if it was me and this is all the money that I had, I'm gonna, die on the sword with this thing, and you have all this money sitting on the sidelines, wouldn't you want to put your nest egg up at 45 via a cash secured put and then do something like, I don't know, 50 contracts?
The premiums suck. I was thinking about that, but the
Do
premiums
they
suck.
though? Do they though? I don't think they do, because it's making a lot more money than what you're making now being on the sidelines. If you got, say, right at that halfway point at 410, that you're gonna turn your nose up at $20,000. I mean, that finances 80% of the trade that you're in. And if it doesn't go up, but you believe that this is the trade, why wouldn't you be comfortable owning all of those shares at $45? And you're de-risking the position substantially. If it goes up, those cash secured puts are obviously going to print money for you, and as well as the covered call versus the peanuts that you're getting for leaving that money on the sidelines. I'm just saying, like, if you're really going to be all in on GIS, wouldn't it make more sense to pick up that $20,000 bill that's there on the ground, and then if it went down to 40, you could say, okay, so I got the long call wrong, but I got these shares at 45, and I still think it's the best stock on Wall Street. It's going to go up to 75 or 80 eventually, and I can write all of these shares up and turn that 300 into 500, and you're on your way. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like it's hard to come on this channel and be like, oh, this is the best stock in the world and I'm all in, but then we find out that you're only 8 to 10% of your net worth into the stock, and then everything's on the sidelines. So is it really the best stock, or is it just what you can see right now? It's the best, but it's only to the best to the tune of 10% of what you got working with. And again, I'm not trying to like force you or anything. I'm just saying, like, I
in my brain. Yeah.
math in my mind.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only reason is just because like I don't want to have two strategies. I only like just doing the naked calls or the naked puts, and then I rather just put that money into the calls than doing cash secured puts. Like I don't know what it is with me. I can't get myself to do cash secured puts. It's not worth it for me.
Well, what about? I'm not encouraging anything, but I mean, isn't there another way to do it? Maybe like a short put, or a naked. I don't know what level you have.
3.
What's up, Dallas?
I was gonna say me personally at this. I mean, you're talking. I mean, you just said like you bet your life it's gonna go up. If that's the case, I would take 50K of that 300. I would buy the shares straight up. It's at a good level, $52 just today. It fell from 90. So if you ride back to 90, you're almost at 100% gain. That's going to pretty much be the same amount of money you're going to make from your leaps.
Yeah.
You're just putting more money behind it. And then I would sell some covered calls against your shares. And then I would take
leaps to write up.
Hold on. I would take that premium you get from the covered calls, and then I would buy $90 leaps for 2027, not 50.
Lottery leaps, baby.
Yeah, so lottery. Yeah, that's a good idea too, because it's like financing the trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because if you're betting your life, this is going back to 90. Why are you buying $50 calls?
No, I don't think it's gonna go to 90. I think it's gonna go to like 63-ish.
Either way, you're getting the leap for cheaper, and you're going to be rewarded more on a short-term move. You're going to be rewarded more on an out-of-the-money purchase leap than an in-the-money.
So hold on one second. You're paying 904, or they're worth $940 a pop, because we looked at it earlier. You have a $50 strike, so you're not really making any money until it goes over 59.40 cents. And you're thinking it's only going to go to 63. So you're putting all of your eggs in one basket that's going to give you $4 of intrinsic value.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big.
I went to a public school, University of Texas at Austin, but not even on that.
It on a short-term move, he still will make money because he's not wanting to hold it to expiration. So I get the thought process, because he's buying, probably 70 delta deep in the money or whatever, like by the book. But if you really are convinced on a short-term move to the upside, I wouldn't be buying deep in the money leaps. Just buy some shares. It's undervalued in your opinion. Either way, buy some shares, and those don't expire. So if it goes down even more, then you can really, load up on your leaps at that point. If you're wrong and you caught the exact bottom, well, now you got 50K worth of shares to go up, sell some calls, use that premium to buy, further out of the money leaps to really, maximize any short-term up move.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think the problem with the stock is, the reason I'm not expecting it to make a big move is it doesn't move. It's a dividend stock. It hardly ever moves. So it's like a tricky stock to play, especially when you're buying options on it. It doesn't move. It's like Pepsi. It's very slow.
Like I said though, even if you get a small move, you're still going to make more money with the out of the money leap than an in the money leap if it happens over a short period of time.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was going to ask Dallas, do you like the play or no, like General Mills, or you wouldn't touch it?
So I really like technicals. I know a lot of people don't. It's at a good level. Like if I was looking at it, I would just purchase shares here. I only like buying leaps when it's at like ridiculously low. Like when ELF, went from like, I think it was in the 200s to like 50 to me, that's when you load up on leaps, not like on a 40% down move. Because if you're wrong, your next kind of level of support is like 47s, but it could. There's the best level of support is right here at like 38 or so.
Yeah.
And so actually about 40. So that's when I would look to add leaps because we're in a pretty uncertain market right now. So I think it's a good level to pick up shares, but like my all-time favorite indicator is oversold on the weekly. If you get to a I post about that on X a lot. Like United Healthcare is oversold on the weekly. It only happens like once every 10 to 20 years that you get that type of oversold. So that's when I like to really load up on leaps because you're going to get dip buyers. When you get oversold on the weekly, you're going to get people buying the dip. They don't know anything about the company and they're buying the dip. I have never read one single thing about ELF, not one.
Yeah.
And I bought a crap load of leaps because of the technical indicators saying this is extremely oversold.
Yeah. Makes
You
sense.
know, and my leaps are up 240% in a month.
That is.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So maybe that's reckless because I don't really know anything about ELF, but you know, for me,
What you gotta know is that most people have ears, lips, and a face, Dallas.
yeah.
But you don't really need to know it. I mean, it's just a trade for you, right? Like, do you have a trailing stop?
Guys, I gotta run. My food is here, and I've not eaten since breakfast, and I only had about 300 calories. So I'm gonna consume about 700 calories right now, and looking forward to it. Guys, Dallas, I appreciate you, my man. We got to do Wheelers soon. BR Baller, you're always welcome, my man. Good luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Dallas.
Don't get crazy, man. Don't get crazy with the market. TJ, the World Deal signing off as always. May your sky stay blue, stock screen. Peace out. God bless you guys. Eat a bunch of protein. You'll look like Dallas.
Thank you, guys. Peace. Enjoy your weekend.
Take care, my man.
Thank you, guys.
See you, buddy.